on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime! Kansas City wins the game!
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this Thursday of a Chiefs bye week. We got some football topics to get to coming up in just a bit. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to head out to Denver, Colorado to talk to the team that is currently in first place in the AFC West, the Denver Broncos. They also have Thursday night football coming up later today against the Las Vegas Raiders. We're also going to head to Lawrence, Kansas in the 3 o'clock hour. KU has a big weekend. On Friday night, they go on the road to play North Carolina in basketball. On Saturday, they go on the road to play Arizona. KU needs one more win this football season to qualify for a bowl game. That will be their third bowl game in 4 years. We're also going to have Jay Binkley join us in studio coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. I told you guys, we got a lot of fun playing on today's show. We'll get to the NFL coming up in just a bit, but I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, now I always say that number three is most importantly, but Rob, we saw the ratings today. People ain't been telling one friend to listen to the show. We don't ask for much. This is a free radio program. The only thing that you guys need to do to repay us, hopefully for the hours of quality content that we have given you, is just to tell one person to listen to the show. That doesn't feel like it's that big of an ask. So please, whatever you do today, when you see somebody, I don't care if they're a friend. I don't care if they're a stranger. I don't care if they cut you off in traffic. I want you to roll down your window and say, hey, excuse me, sir. Are you listening to 95 or 96.5 The Fan? That's all I need you to do. And number three, I need you to remember that the open of the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. If you're looking for a place to watch that Kansas game that we were talking about, to watch Thursday night football, to get you a great beer special, a great food special, sit out on the patio and enjoy a couple of the nice warm fall days that we have left, I would highly encourage you to check out our friends over at The Other Place. So I was watching ESPN today to get ready for the show, and they had two absolutely incredible questions that I would like to answer as we kick things off. Now, the first question was one that I haven't even begun to think of. And I started thinking, that's why they make the big bucks over there on ESPN. So this was a topic that they had on First Take. Are the Chiefs more likely to miss the playoffs or make the Super Bowl? Now, I don't think the Chiefs are missing the playoffs, but just the fact that we are asking the question at the midway point in the NFL season is a very interesting question to me. So, Rob, I broke this down today. Speck and I were going through the standings, and this is what we came up with. There are 4 teams in the AFC that I would consider a lock to be the playoffs at this point in the season. That if any one of these 4 teams missed the playoffs, it would take a collapse of epic proportions for them to outright miss the postseason. The Colts, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Broncos. The Colts, given their division and games they have left, the Patriots and Bills both have 2 easy cupcake schedules. I would be very surprised if at this point we are not talking about the Broncos being one of the 7 best teams in the AFC. Now, are they going to win their division? That remains to be seen. But I would be stunned at this point if the Broncos did not qualify for the postseason. So we're looking at the AFC, and I would say 4 of those spots are locked up. Colts, Pats, Bills, Broncos. Now, you got the winner of the AFC North, whether it's the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Ravens. I know that I left the Ravens for dead a few weeks back, but you know what? Lamar is getting healthy. The schedule is opening up. The Steelers are the Steelers. There is certainly a possibility that the AFC North is still up for grabs. Now, I still have my Ravens miss the playoff bet at plus 260, and I feel good about it given the lead that the Steelers have and how competitive the rest of the AFC is. But you have to acknowledge that the Ravens, now that they're healthy, now that they've turned that defense around, now that they got Lamar back, it is probably going to be a race to the finish, and we'll see if the Ravens can win that division. Do you probably have to get to 10, maybe 9-8 wins the AFC North? That remains to be seen. So I would say then there are 3 other teams, Kansas City, the Chargers, or the Jaguars. Now, what is a bad thing for Kansas City, 2 of your losses are to the other 2 teams that we're talking about. You've lost the game to the Chargers. I know you get a chance to get them on the get back so you can neutralize the tiebreaker advantage that they have over you, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't think the Chiefs are missing the playoffs, but it is a very interesting question. Now that we sit here at the midway point, we know the Chiefs' record at 5-4. Are they more likely to miss the playoffs outright, or are they more likely to win the Super Bowl? I still think the answer is win the Super Bowl. I still consider them to be one of the contenders in the AFC. Right now, it is about getting healthy, getting right, getting through this 3-game stretch that you have on the road against the Broncos, home against the Indianapolis Colts, on the road Thanksgiving Day against the Cowboys, a team that offensively can put up some points. And then I think the schedule opens up a little bit for you coming up on the back half that I think is going to allow you to be able to gobble up some wins, gain some momentum, and full speed ahead to the postseason. So I thought that was a pretty interesting question that they were debating on First Take. Now, here was a subject that they were talking about on ESPN's Get Up, and I want to play the conversation for you. You know that the Jets have all those picks they just got for the trade. They just traded Sauce Gardner away. They just traded Quinnen Williams away. We also know that the Jets are looking for a quarterback. This was a great question. What if the Jets took all of those picks and what if they packaged them for Joe Burrow?
This is a league that always has quarterback questions. This now, as much as ever, feels like an arms race with teams positioning themselves to make big moves for quarterbacks, whoever they are, whenever they are. We saw this week that anybody can be had. We saw that teams are willing to go nuts to get their guy. So why is it going to stop there? When it starts there, it's not going to stop. Yeah. It's only going to increase. And there are some teams out there that have some major ammunition to go dangle to make things happen.
Not anybody can be.
That was beautiful.
Joe Burrow cannot. No way. Jets, try all you want.
I think it would be crazy for the Bengals to trade Joe Burrow.
Outrageous.
That being said, he's ended the last 3 seasons. They won't make the playoffs. He's ended 3 seasons on IR. If you're able to get a king's ransom, I could see it not being a 0%. I don't think it's smart. I was there with Carson Palmer.
Let me ask you a question. How do you think
we had Andy Dalton, and we flipped all these draft picks into what is probably the most successful stretch for Bengals franchise history from 2011 to 2016.
Go, Shefty, go. We're just talking. How do you think Joe Burrow feels about the Bengals defense and the offensive line that's protected?
I'm asking you a question. If I were Joe Burrow, I would want out of Cincinnati.
You would?
Yes. If I were Joe Burrow, that doesn't mean Cincinnati would be obliging to that.
Hold on. That's where it gets interesting.
I thought this was a very interesting debate. Let's go down this path for just a little bit here, because the Jets certainly have the ammunition that would make an organization think. If you're the New York Jets and you say, we don't want to deal with developing a quarterback, we don't want to take Ty Simpson, we don't want to take Mendoza, we don't want to take Dante Moore from Oregon, Lenore Sellers, whatever quarterback you think is good, and we want what we think is a proven commodity. Now, as an asterisk, it would be the most Jets thing to pass up on the 21, 22-year-old quarterbacks and then trade for the 29-year-old quarterback with bad knees, but it's a fun hypothetical. If you're the Jets and you called the Bengals right now and you told them, we will trade you our 2026 first-round pick, not ours, but we'll trade you the Colts one. We'll take our 2027, also the Colts draft pick. We'll give you that. And we'll also trade you our second-round pick, which could be pretty high up in the draft. We're talking about it could be the 33rd overall pick in this year's NFL draft. That's great compensation. I think you at least got to think about it if you're Cincinnati. Now, I don't think Cincinnati makes this trade, and I think the biggest reason is I don't think you signed Jamar Chase to the deal that you signed him to, and you know the relationship between Chase and Joe Burrow. I don't think you go out and spend the money on T. Higgins that you've spent. I don't think you do that to a year into both of those contracts. You now have a completely different plan, and you want to go with a rookie quarterback that's going to have a little bit of a learning curve. But it's a very, very interesting question. So if you ask the age-old who says no in this scenario, Rob, I think Cincinnati says no if the Jets call and offer up this trade. But it's a really, really interesting hypothetical trade scenario.
I actually think it's the Jets that say no. For all the reasons you laid out. You just acquired enough draft capital to take 2 bites of the apple at quarterback. Like, let's say you're the Jets. Next season, you're enamored with Francisco Mendoza. You draft him. He turns into Josh Rosen. You still have enough picks as a GM and a coach to be like, okay, we missed, but because of all these extra picks, we're then the ensuing year going to chase Arch Manning or whoever you think, Julian Sayin, whoever you think the next guy after that up is. You are going to give away all that draft capital for a 28-year-old who's often injured and is on a very expensive contract, and you don't have an offensive line to protect him? And the age-old who says no question, I get why the Bengals say no. I actually think the Jets say no first, because why burn the draft capital on something where I might not get every, dollar's worth of value out of it?
I think the goal of the Jets with all of these draft picks that they have acquired, the goal should be we're trying to be the Detroit Lions, which is a crazy sentence to say. But if you look at how the Lions did, now they had a little bit of a jump start. They had a quarterback. They then traded it for another quarterback that has worked out. I remember the conversation when originally the Lions traded for Jared Goff, and the feeling was, oh, he's just a throw-in. It's really about the picks. They'll just play out the string with Jared Goff, and then they'll move on. Well, that wasn't the case. That's not what happened. He has turned out to be a franchise quarterback for them. And then they have just hit on every other take. They've just hit on every other pick. They hit on Jahmyr Gibbs. They hit on this guy. They hit on this guy. To me, that's what the Jets should be focused on. We have all of this draft capital. We drafted Sauce Gardner. We didn't do anything with Sauce Gardner. We drafted Quinnen Williams. The exact same thing applies. Now that we have these 4 or 5 picks, we need to focus on getting our quarterback, and then we need to focus on building the infrastructure around them and hitting on those picks and trying to chase what would be a 29-year-old Joe Burrow who is coming off another significant injury. I just don't know if that's the best pathway of using all of these assets that you have. So a great hypothetical, a great question, fun sports radio topic. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Jets to do this more so than with Cincinnati. If you're Cincinnati, a hard reset might not be the worst idea. But at this point, you're just pot committed. You've paid all of these people. You got to see things out with Burrow. You got to see things out with Jamar Chase. You got to see it out with T. Higgins. And we'll obviously see what happens if you can build an offensive line around your quarterback and a defense that's capable of getting you back to a potential championship level that they were a couple of years ago. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about one of the better teams in the National Football League. We're going to head to Denver, Colorado as they get ready for Thursday Night Football against the Raiders. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is gonna be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends, near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
We know there's a lot that can go on during one night of baseball. Long home runs, epic pitching performances, catches that defy space, time, and gravity.
Climbing the wall, did he catch it? He did!
But what if you could get all of that summarized in a quick, concise, and at least we think, funny podcast that's under 10 minutes? Check out MLB.com's morning lineup. It runs Monday through Friday mornings on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you love listening most.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rashee Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I can't remember the last time that we said this, but let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by the current leaders in the AFC West standings, the Denver Broncos. Andrew Mason of Denver Sports 104.3 joins us on the show. Andrew, I hope you enjoy that title because the plan is for you guys not to have that for too much longer. How's it going today, my man?
All right. Well, I mean, y'all have got the 2 games left on the schedule to try and catch up, right? So, I mean, technically, it's it's still in the Chiefs' grasp. Y'all still have control of your fate in the AFC West as far as things go. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
So let's just start with this, Andrew. How are we here with the Broncos? Because last year I thought the Broncos were a good team, but I thought it was pretty clear that they were a wild card team, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. But you felt very optimistic. You had your quarterback. You got your head coach in place. You had some decent talent around him. The expectation was to take the step forward. It looks like they are taking the step forward. How did we get here with the Broncos?
Well, those close losses that they had last year, and, of course, y'all saw one of them at Arrowhead that came down to the last second field goal attempt that Leo Chenal blocked. Those close losses, they've become wins. Now, they remained losses in September, so that carried over to walk-off defeats at Indianapolis, at the Chargers in weeks 2 and 3. But then they play Philadelphia in week 5. Come back from a 2-score deficit in the fourth quarter, get the win. And, I mean, that was the second win on this 6-game winning streak, but it just seemed like that game, that fourth quarter, that was a hump for this team to get over. And since then, they've pulled off a bunch of wins, most of them of the comeback variety. They played lousy against the Jets, but got a late field goal in the fourth quarter to win. They played terribly for 3 quarters against the Giants, but then came back in the final 6 minutes from a 3-score deficit, got the win. Blew out Dallas. That's the one complete game they've played in the last few. And then in Houston again, trailing going into the fourth quarter, got 11 fourth quarter points, got the win. They haven't figured out how to play a complete game except against Dallas, which has the struggling defense, but they seem to have figured out how to close out games, and Bo Nix seems to have that clutch thing, the ability to make plays in those end-game situations, in those end-game drives in him, and that's allowed them to ride this and have a 6-game winning streak.
We've been asking the question, are the Broncos a good team? We've been asking that for about a month here, and I would say the answers around town are changing around the Broncos. I don't think there's any question that the Broncos are a good team. I think they're going to win 11 or 12 games. They certainly have earned that. Do you see them as a Super Bowl contending team? Because it sounds to me like what you're describing, and from watching them this season, is right now they're winning a lot of those coin flip games. And I think we know how the NFL works is eventually the coin just lands on the other side and the house of cards can potentially come crumbling down. Do you look at this team as a Super Bowl contending team, what you're watching in Denver?
Well, I look at them as a Super Bowl contending team because I'm not sure there's a great team this year. I think we may be looking at teams that are good to very good being the Super Bowl contenders, and I'm not sure that there is that juggernaut, powerful team that you look at and say, wow, like they're the Colossus that you can't knock off. I don't know that team exists this year. It seems like every team, even the ones that we're talking about as contenders, they have a potentially fatal flaw. And, I mean, you talk about the close wins. I mean, that does end up coming back on you at some point. I mean, now sometimes that point ends up being the following year. You could argue with the Chiefs, for example, having all the close wins last year, there's a regression this year. Those are not going their way this year. I'm not sure the Chiefs are much different in terms of the quality of team they are this year, but they're losing close games, but they won them last year. What I would say for the Broncos is sometimes when you see a lot of these types of results, sometimes I do wonder, is this a little bit like the 2022 Vikings, for example, that they won an awful lot of close games in the regular season as a team that was emerging, and then they got into the playoffs, they played the Giants in the first game, and they lost. I mean, is it a team like that, or is it a team that keeps on winning as they get into December and into the postseason? I think that's a question that I'm not sure that we have the answer to right now.
Right now, we're talking to Andrew Mason. He's with Denver Sports for 104.3 out in Denver, Colorado. Andrew, let's talk about Bo Nix. The same way that I got questions about the Broncos as a team, I feel like those questions just kind of center around Bo Nix. The numbers have taken a step back from last year, but the production as a team is better this year. I don't know what to make of Bo Nix. He hasn't really taken that leap forward that I thought that he possibly could. Where do you stand with Denver's quarterback right now?
Well, he's getting the offensive numbers. He's getting more support from the running game. J.K. Dobbins has been a very nice pickup for the offense, and R.J. Harvey as the second running back, someone who can deliver some explosiveness in the passing game as a target there. That certainly helped Bo along. It's interesting to look at his numbers because some of the advanced analytics on him are not kind. I mean, you look at, say, or even some of the numbers, like you look at success rate, for example. His success rate's one of the lowest in the league. Success rate being what percentage of his plays end in like success for the offense. For example, if you get 8 yards on a pass play on 3rd and 12, that's not success because that's not what the offense was hoping to do. You didn't move the chains. So his success rate is low. So you're not seeing consistency from Bo Nix, and certainly you're not seeing consistency throughout the game because the offense is often stalled throughout the game, but you're seeing good things happen in high leverage situations. You're seeing the offense look pretty effective when they go 2-minute. And this is another thing to kind of add to that. You kind of ask, okay, when the offense goes 2-minute, when the offense goes up tempo, it looks pretty good. So why don't you do that more often? Well, Sean Payton likes to sub in plenty of players play to play because he likes to get in the right personnel groups. You've got this tug of war going on. So there's really just it's kind of confusing sometimes. With Bo, the other thing is sometimes the footwork is a little bit inconsistent, and this has revealed itself on some missed opportunities on deep balls. The chances have been there to hit deep passes, to hit open receivers, but sometimes even when he's got a clean pocket, sometimes he'll take an extra step before he throws or he'll throw off his back foot, and that's led to some inaccuracy on the deep passes, and that has held down his overall production and why you haven't seen his numbers take the step up that I think a lot of people were hoping to see. So it's a decidedly mixed bag for Bo Nix, even though the team is an offense, the team wide on the offense, it's looking more productive. So, I mean, it's leading to this, it's leading to this debate. Is Bo Nix that good, or is he, or is he not? I mean, I would say that certainly the running game, and I think Sean Payton's offensive scheme, I think certainly that is helping him along and maybe masking some of the developmental growth issues that are existing with Bo Nix right now.
Right now, we're talking to Andrew Mason for a couple more minutes. He covers the Denver Broncos. I think you guys have the best cornerback in the National Football League in Patrick Surtain. He's out with an injury right now. He obviously isn't going to play for Thursday Night Football. Do you think he plays next week against the Chiefs?
Well, there's a chance that they did not put him on injured reserve, and I think he's going to try to go in that game. It's a question of, obviously, is he going to aggravate that pec injury? If he twists, does he run the risk of turning a 3 or 4 week injury into something more severe? Like, can they protect him with that pec and prevent him from aggravating that? I think that's going to be the big storyline out here for the practice days next week is, will Pat Surtain be able to go or not? I think he will try in those practices to be ready to go. And the fact that they didn't put him on IR tells you that he's looking to try to be ready for that game. It's a question of whether they want to expose him or not. Certainly, if they get the job done tonight and they know that the worst that they can leave with that game with is a game and a half lead in the AFC West, I do wonder if they're going to maybe try to save him from himself a little bit and say, all right, take this week, take the bye week, come back on the other side of it. So I think actually tonight's result could have an impact on whether you see Surtain next week or not.
I'll get you out of here with this. Obviously, I think it would be early to call the division, and Denver still has to go to Kansas City on Christmas. But let's say that Denver wins today. I mean, they're 8.5-point favorites at home against a team that's not going anywhere. If they lose this game, then that's a big missed opportunity. But if you're heading into that game, I'm not going to say that it's over, but you got a chance to land a deafening blow to Kansas City. If they can take care of home next week, they can be 9-2 while Kansas City is 5-5. Like, Kansas City's really got to get going, and Denver has to have a pretty big collapse down the second half of the season. So maybe it's worth it if you're Denver to try to push it to potentially end Kansas City's chances of winning the division.
Yeah, potentially. But the thing is, even if you get that win, but you lose Surtain now. They did just beat Houston without Surtain, but that was Houston without C.J. Stroud for 3 quarters, and they really had to labor to get past the Texans, even though they didn't have Stroud for much of that game. So, you know, I'm a little bit risk averse sometimes. I'm not sure I would do that if I were the Broncos. But you are right. I mean, if they get the win over the Chiefs, it's basic. At least in regard to the Chiefs, the division race might be on lockdown. The Chargers could still close, but the Chargers have some tough games left, and of course they're trying to patch up their situation in offensive tackle as well with Alton Slater down. So yeah, it's certainly an opportunity there for the Broncos. So I mean, I do get what you're saying, but the other thing for the Broncos is, like, if you risk Surtain and he turns that pec strain into a pec tear, then you don't have him for a playoff run that you might be in if you play him next week and he aggravates that injury. So it might be some even longer term considerations beyond that game that they have to weigh when making the Surtain decision.
I understand it's a different part of the body, but this feels like the same argument we just had in the NBA about Tyrese Halliburton and a strain, and you got to play him because of the magnitude of the game, and then worst case scenario ends up happening. That is Andrew Mason joining us on the show. He is with Denver Sports 104.3. Andrew, something tells me that you will be on the show next week as the Chiefs and the Broncos have the most important game that they've had in a long time in this division. Happy to have you pop on with us today, my man.
All right, appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. That's Andrew Mason joining us on the show today. He covers the Denver Broncos. I mean, that's a part of this conversation that obviously we don't need to have this week. Let's see how Thursday Night Football plays itself out. If there is anything we know is that the results of Thursday Night Football are always incredibly random. You got short week, you got divisional games. Who knows what's going to happen? Now, I believe the Broncos are going to win this game, but it would not be the craziest thing to have happen that the Raiders in a divisional game on a short week just end up pulling off the upset and beating the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have a chance to lay a potentially fatal wound these next 2 weeks. If the Broncos win this game, they go to 8-2, and they got a home game next week against Kansas City. Let me ask you this, Rob. Early look ahead line. Who do you think is favored next week? Do you think Denver's favored or Kansas City?
I think Denver will be favored by like 1.5. 1.5. Because I think they're going to win tonight, and you're going to have...
Chiefs are favored on the road against Buffalo.
Yeah. I didn't really mean much in the game.
For sure.
And I think division game, I think the Broncos will be a slight favorite. Slight favorite. That's also what I remember, too, with the Bills. The Bills' defense, at least we thought going into the game,
was beat up.
Was real beat up. The Broncos, we don't know the situation with Surtain. We won't know it next week, obviously, all those things. But they look healthier on paper, at least, than the Bills did last week.
Text line 913-586-7965. Curious to get your thoughts on that. If we just play the look-ahead line a little bit, who do you think is going to be favored in next week matchup between the Chiefs and the Broncos? I mean, the Chiefs are going to be healthy, you would presume. You believe they're getting back Josh Simmons. He's back now for the bye week. You would believe that they are doing everything they can to have him ready to play left tackle next week for Kansas City. They don't have any, at least visible injury, not certainly anything that we know about right now.
I mean, Pacheco, well, we don't know the situation with Pacheco.
Good point about Pacheco, but I'm guessing that you didn't put Pacheco on the IRs because you believe that he can play in this game. He missed the Bills game. You got the bye week. He then maybe is a limited participant in practice next week. I mean, that'll be 3 weeks in real time. I mean, that's a reasonable amount of time to think that he could potentially give you something in this game. We'll obviously see what happens. We'll get back to college football here coming up in just a bit, but I want to talk to you guys about this. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but they are making a biopic on Michael Jackson, and the trailer for this came out earlier today. Now, Rob, I watched the trailer almost instantly. I've been kind of anticipating this movie. I think a lot of people have been anticipating this movie. So when I found out that we got our first actual look at it, I was very curious to see what it looked like. Now, I was happy with what I saw with the original trailer, but I have some questions about this. My biggest complaint with these kinds of movies, and this has been a theme in all of these that I've seen, it seems incredibly difficult to try to tell a person's 50-year life in a 2-hour stretch. And it feels like it becomes basically a musical and just trying to basically be a living Wikipedia page. I think Michael Jackson's life and story is interesting enough. This should have been a trilogy. We should have had a movie on young Michael Jackson's life that could have been a 2-hour movie. We could have had a second part about Off the Wall and Thriller and that story of Michael making the transition between a child star into a fully grown adult pop star, and then the third portion of his life. That is the way I wish they had handled it. That's not what we've done here, but that would be my worry. I don't know how you tell Michael Jackson's story properly in 2.5 hours. I don't think they've really done a great job in telling many of these artist stories over a great 2.5 hour period. There's been some that I really like, but for the most part, feels like we're speeding things so incredibly quickly, and you're just trying to hit on these big moments that I don't know if we're properly telling the stories. This is an incredible story. I just hope that that's depicted in the movie.
So I had a question as well. We have different questions, but I have a question. It's in this similar vein. If you're going to tell the story of Michael Jackson, are you going to tell the story of Michael Jackson? Because let's be honest, as much as his music is some of the most iconic of all time, his personal life is a huge part of the story. The Neverland Ranch, all that is a part of the Michael Jackson story. Is that going to be part of this movie? Because it is not a positive part of his life, but it is a part of his life. Is that going to come up?
I agree with you, but I'm just guessing based on what I've read, the fact that the Michael Jackson estate has approved the movie would then tell me the answer is they ain't diving super deep into that. I don't know why you would think they would sign off on it if that's the case. I also think that's why we haven't gotten the movie yet, is because how do you finish this movie? How do you do the last 15 minutes of this movie? I don't know how you properly tell the last 15 minutes of the movie, which is why we've been talking about this movie for 4 years now, and they finally have a date because they had to reshoot the ending of it because there's been so much controversy on how do you end this story.
And listen, what I don't want, and it's a weird thing. What I don't want is I don't want the movie to be like, and that's how he was the greatest pop star of all time. Fade to black. No, we need to know the end of the story, because the end of the story is part of the story. Like, there is a group of people. There's a large group of people, not small, that view Michael Jackson in a very different way because of the end of his story, his personal life, and the demons and all the things he fought. You can't just be like, hey, he was a great pop star, end of movie, because that's really not a biopic. That's just, hey, Michael Jackson made music. Isn't that cool? And you're right. These biopics have been kind of mid. I don't think the Queen one with Freddie Mercury is great. I heard the Bruce Springsteen one wasn't very good.
The only one I really love is Ray. I think Ray's a really good movie.
Ray, I actually didn't mind the NWA one, but that's because NWA's story is 10 minutes long.
Yeah, they have one album that everybody knows. Yeah, they have one album.
They have 15 minutes of story, so it's easy to make it into 2 hours. But generally, these things kind of miss. I never saw the Tupac one. I didn't even waste my time. I heard it wasn't very good.
You're right. Don't waste your time. I've seen it, so you didn't have to see it. I've seen it. Coming up on the other side, let's talk a little bit of college football. And I think that a large majority of these openings, I think they're going to have a very, very similar problem. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel, because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost hosting on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help us your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com.
Century Roofing has done it again. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County for the 4th year in a row. If you didn't get your roof inspected after last year's hailstorms and your neighbors are getting new roofs, you might have damage too. Don't wait. Book your free inspection today and take advantage of our free material upgrade sale. This can mean big savings on your insurance premium. Trust the pillars of strength with female-owned Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
Men, if the long lines to the bathroom have been holding you back from attending sporting events and you're waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here to talk about the minimally invasive procedure I had that made a big difference. I went to Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. The procedure was quick and easy, and I'm very happy with the result. Don't put up with being uncomfortable. Contact Miva Medical. That's MIVA-medical.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-999-3339. That's 800-999-3339. Again, that's 800-999-3339.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Expect mostly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 69.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
Let me tell you guys that our college football coverage here on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light and Tanner's, they're teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your favorite college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets only at Kansas area Tanner's locations, Bud Light and Tanner's. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters. I want to play this for you in case you missed it yesterday. This quote from Steve Sarkisian has just been playing in my mind the last couple of days when I've been thinking about college football.
Everybody wants to fire their coach. Who are you going to hire? There's all these jobs out there right now. Who's everybody going to hire? I don't know. We'll find out. Somebody's got to be the head coach. The amount of, 1 week you're a hero, the next week you're a zero mentality that fan bases and people want to have. Surely coaches want some security to what they sign up to go do. We work really hard, and I get it. We all want to win, and we're all busting our tails to try to win, and sometimes things don't go your way. Especially in our conference, it's tough, and so the idea that coaches don't want some security in the jobs that they take, that doesn't quite make sense to me. It should be like, man, somewhere in here, somebody has got to be willing to say, hey, let's see if this can work itself out. Not every year, not all 16 teams in the SEC are going to go to the playoff. It's just not reality. We're talking about trying to get 4 or 5 teams in this year. Last year we got 3.
That is the head coach at the University of Texas, Steve Sarkisian. And the reason I've been thinking about this is a lot of these coaches are deciding to stay where they are. Now, obviously, Penn State is going to hire somebody. Florida is going to hire somebody. LSU is going to hire somebody. But I would say there used to be a hierarchy of how this thing worked. If you were the Vanderbilt head coach and you were having great success, you took one of these major jobs. Well, Carrington, how do you know this? That's how Penn State got James Franklin. He was the head coach at Vanderbilt. He did a very good job at Vanderbilt. Now you ready for the big leagues. And now you move on up. So Georgia Tech's head coach, they're having a great year. They might make the college football playoff. He said, basically, I'm staying. Now, he didn't say those words, but he said, cut me open and see what colors I bleed. That is a pretty emphatic, I want to be here at Georgia Tech. I don't think that Vanderbilt's coach is leaving. Nebraska's coach has made the decision to stay. Indiana's coach has made the decision to stay. So I'm looking at all of these jobs around the country, and I'm asking myself the question, who's going to take these jobs? And maybe more importantly, do these jobs have the same appeal that they used to? Because now it feels like the expectation at like 20 schools is you need to make the college football playoff every year. And if you don't make the college football playoff, then your season is a failure and you could potentially get fired. Now, I'm not arguing that Missouri is a better job than Florida. Please don't take this. I would argue it is better to coach at Missouri than coach at Florida. Right now, Eli Drinkwitz is the 10th highest paid college football coach. I love Mizzou. I don't think that Eli's the 10th best coach in the sport, but he gets paid like he is. And there isn't that expectation at Missouri where you got to make the playoff every single year. You keep being what Missouri is, and I don't know why Missouri would ever get rid of their head coach. Keep being a program that wins 8 or 9 games. Every once in a while, you win double-digit games. And I think eventually Missouri will make the college football playoff. I think they would have made it 2 years ago if it was a 12-team playoff. I think they were good enough to make it a couple of years ago. But we only had the 4-team playoff if that was the case. Is it better to be in that situation and basically get paid like you are at Florida with none of the pressure of being at Florida, none of the pressure at being at LSU, none of the pressure at being at Penn State? When I heard the LSU AD say, we expect to be in the playoff every single year, I think that was a window into what all of these programs are thinking. I think every program in college football thinks they should be better than what they are. If they're a 6 or 7 win program, they're willing to fire their head coach to try to find the person that can get them to 7 or 8 wins, or who can maybe get you to 9 wins. So if that's the case, if you're somebody like Lane Kiffin and you're at Ole Miss and you're a really solid program, I don't think you're Georgia. I don't think you're Alabama. You're not Ohio State, but you're a very solid tier 2. They love you down there. You make great money, and you don't have any of the pressure. You got a great relationship with the boosters. You got NIL money. I don't know why you're not certainly jumping to take these jobs. The Indiana head coach 5 years ago, everybody in the world is telling you, you cannot stay at Indiana. You have to take one of those jobs. That's just a natural progression of what you do. But I don't know if that's the case anymore. If Indiana got 8 years, $92 million to pay their head coach, and you ain't got no expectations, then you tell me that's not one of the best jobs in the country. How do more coaches sign up for something like this? I think that's going to be a thing as we move deeper and deeper into the playoff. And now it feels like it's an all or nothing thing. It now feels like if your team didn't make the playoff, your season is over. Why watch the rest of these games? I don't care anymore. As it's become more playoff or bust, I wonder if those premium premier jobs become less and less appealing because the expectations are so unrealistic at those universities.
I think it's twofold. I think it's one, exactly what you said. If you're at Penn State, I mean, after game 1 this year at Alabama, people were talking about firing Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer is going to go to the playoff. He gets a bye right now in college football. I think that's part of it. You're 100% correct. I also think there's part of this, too, where if you're at a Georgia Tech, if you're at an Indiana, if you're at a Missouri, if you're at a Kansas State, if you're at, a Utah, a BYU, a Texas Tech, pick one of these non-traditional powers that's good this year in college football, man, there's a path for you to make the playoff where that didn't exist 5 years ago. Like Brent Key, he's the guy who just said at Georgia Tech, cut me open and see what colors I bleed. 10 years ago, if Brent Key was at Georgia Tech and went 9-3, he has no shot of making the playoff. He's a cute story. He's they went all the way to the Pop-Tart Bowl or the Champ Sports Bowl, and they won. Congratulations. If he went 9-3, 9-3, 10-2, 9-3 at Georgia Tech, he's a hero at Georgia Tech, but he's never anything more than that. Never in the college football playoff, never, maybe goes to an ACC and wins an ACC title game, but it's just, that's his ceiling. You had to go to one of the premier blue blood programs to give yourself a chance. Nowadays, Georgia Tech can go to the playoff just as easy as Notre Dame can. Georgia Tech can go to the playoff just as easy as Washington can. So if the money's similar and the expectations are easier here and I can go 9-3 and miss it and be a hero, why am I signing up to go 10-2 and be hated when I can be 10-2 here and make the playoff and they build a statue? I think the expanded playoff has been good for these non-blue bloods because suddenly there's a path to be in the championship game. Indiana is the perfect example. Kurt Signetti is going to be a god in Bloomington for as long as he wants to be because he's already gone to one playoff and he's going to go to another. Joey McGuire at Texas Tech, they're going to view him as one of the best coaches in program history because he's probably going to go to a playoff. Like, that was not a thing. Mike Leach was never taking Texas Tech to the playoff when we were younger. Now there's a path for those type of second-tier, third-tier schools.
But I would say, though, if you were like, let's say that Mike Leach was happening, I think Mike Leach chooses to stay at Texas Tech.
100%. That's my point. I think nowadays, because he can go to the playoff at Tech, and 10 years ago he couldn't, why am I ever leaving Tech? He would never take now he was a bad example because of off the field. He would never take the Mississippi State job or something.
I get what you were saying.
Stay.
I get what you were saying. No, absolutely. I want to talk about this, and we'll get to a Spec Says coming up in just a bit. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but ESPN Bet. So ESPN, they had their own gambling service. You've probably seen it on the Bottom Line or whatever, and they have gotten rid of it. They're done. They are not continuing their deal. They're now reaching a deal with DraftKings. I don't know all the particulars of the deal. But I would say I noticed something about ESPN that I think is really, really important. I would say some of the best career advice I ever got was keep the main thing the main thing. That I think when you are in one of these fields, it is very easy for you to get distracted doing other things. Well, you want to do TV, or you want to do a podcast, or you want to do all of these different things that sometimes I think people get pulled in so many different directions that you forget what the main thing is. This is my job. This is my largest source of income. So why chase doing all of these other things, and why forget that the main thing is the main thing? The reason I tell you this is when ESPN has tried to do something that is unrelated to the main thing, for the most part, it's failed. You guys remember when ESPN tries to do a magazine? It was great. I loved ESPN, the magazine. Now, most magazines were going to fail, but it failed. You guys remember when ESPN tried to have restaurants? You guys ever went to one of those? The ESPN Zone? They were fun when you were a kid. Failed, didn't it? You remember when ESPN had a phone? You guys remember this? ESPN had a phone that they were going to send you sports scores. That didn't really work. It worked for a year and a half. When ESPN has tried to get away from what the main thing is, you know what ESPN is? They are a television network. Now, I know some of you don't like it, but I think ESPN is a really, really good television network that shapes pop culture. That's what they are. When they focused on that and creating shows, and remember when they made movies and they created content for the television, it worked. When they have forgotten that and tried to do all these other things, man, it's failed. This is a bad failure, too. You know how hard it is to have the access that they have in sports and you can't get people to gamble with you? Just think about it. They can constantly push it to you, and they do. You see it on the bottom line. They can promote it during games. They promote it constantly. They were 8th in the market. You can't name 8 gambling apps. How are they 8th? Keep the main thing the main thing. That's what ESPN needs to remember. When we have tried to do these other things, they failed miserably. We are a television network, a damn good one. Let's continue to try to be the best television network that we can be. Coming up at the top of the hour, we got a brand new edition of Spec Says. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel, because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there. With information coming at us all day, every day, it's hard to know what to trust. And the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals. So it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Hey, football fans. Tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL. Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by the Home Depot. You order, we deliver. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time. How pros get more done.
All right, you guys are doing great things for the community. Not that you don't always do great things for the community, but Hy-Vee is really stepping up this week. What do you guys have going on?
This week, we are providing $3 hot meals to everybody, but on top of that, kids eat free.
free. So adults $3, kids eat free 12 and under, and we're going to have a variety of meals Monday through Friday from 4 to 7. So these hot meals are just another way for us to look at our community and say, hey, we're here to help no matter what. Kids eat free. No kid in Kansas City should ever go hungry. That's our biggest push right now with Hy-Vee, and us providing these options is just absolutely incredible. But it's what Hy-Vee does. We step up when we can, and it's exactly what we're doing, why I love working for them.
And people always talk about this time of the year, it's the holidays or the food bank, the food pantry. You're doing it well in advance of the holidays, which I think is a good thing to keep reminding people. People are hungry all year long. It's not in November and December.
Yes, right now, the economy and just on certain times, it's tough right now. And so, again, going into the holidays, you know that we're going to be able to help in any way, shape, or form at Hy-Vee, and exactly what we're doing this week by showing that example.
You guys are the best.
Thank you.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Fresco and Dusty, weekdays 6 to 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
You guys know that Steven Spector, the boss man, sometimes he's itching to get these takes off. And I support it. I don't ever want you guys to think that I see the show as just me. It's not just me. Rob's a major part of the show. You guys are a major part of the show. Spector is. It's all of ours. It's like one big group project. So when Spec has a take and he says, hey, I want to share this with you guys, who am I to turn him away? He's the boss man. So he hopped in the studio with some thoughts, and I want to play it for you. Here's this week's edition of Spec Says.
All right, guys, following the announcement that Salvador Perez has now signed a 2-year extension with the Royals, it kind of got me thinking that in this current generation, this golden era of Kansas City sports, which I would consider, October of 2014 to now, I think it's pretty likely that Travis Kelce and Salvador Perez will be the only guys in this generation that will start and end their careers with the Royals and Chiefs, respectively. I think it's obviously pretty clear that Salvi now, 2 more years, calls it quits after 2027, makes a lot of sense. Travis Kelce, we've been talking about his retirement for last year, potentially this being last year. Maybe he plays 1 more year. Regardless, I think we're all in agreement that Travis Kelce was drafted in 2013 by the Chiefs and will finish his career as a Kansas City Chief. But I think those are the only 2. We've seen the history of quarterbacks in the NFL. Rarely do they play from start to finish with one organization. Rodgers, Favre, Manning, Brady. You just don't see it a lot at that position. Is Chris Jones going to be a Chief for the next 3 to 4 years? I would bet against it. Hosmer, Moose, Kane, the other guys in that core of the 2014 and 2015 Royals, they went to play with other teams, even if they may retire a Kansas City Royal. I really think that Travis Kelce and Salvador Perez are the 2 from this generation that will start and end their careers with their respective franchises.
All right, this is a very interesting one. Certainly better than the one that we got last week with the chicken wings. That was a disgraceful performance by Steven Spector. I wish, honestly, Rob, you had deleted it from the computer. Can we talk about Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes separate, because I think they are 2 different things. I'm not meaning to put this in the atmosphere, but I could definitely see a Chris Jones Atlanta Falcons. That's where he plays his last couple of seasons. I mean, can't you see that? Can't you see in a couple of years when the Chiefs can get out of it, it's tough, but Chris Jones plays 1, maybe 2 years with the New Orleans Saints and then signs the 1-day contract to retire with the Kansas City Chiefs. and then that's the end of his career. I mean, that's the most obvious thing I think that you could potentially see on the board. I mean, there's been a lot of Chiefs greats. I mean, Jamal Charles went to go play for another team. Derek Johnson went to go play for another team. Like, we could just find too many of these examples, not just in Kansas City, but elsewhere, that is a very likely outcome of Chris Jones. That maybe you got 2 more years of Chris Jones this year and next year. And then after the end of the 2026-27 season, when the Chiefs could save $20 million by cutting Chris Jones, either they're going to restructure him or that's when Chris Jones goes to play for another team. So I've already got my mind to that place of seeing Chris Jones finish out his career with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
So I agree with you on Jones, and I agree with Speck on Kelsey and Perez. Here's where me and Speck see it differently. I think Patrick Mahomes is a one and done. I think Patrick Mahomes is Kansas City only. Now, I get his point. Rodgers, Brady, Favre, the list goes, Manning, the list goes on. These guys were not one and done teams as quarterbacks, and they were all Hall of Famers, some of them first ballot Hall of Famers. But man, I get the sense, talking to Patrick Mahomes on this show every week, listening to his press conferences, and just being in the Patrick Mahomes business, he does not seem like the kind of person who wants to play football until he's 45, 46-year-old like Brady did. I don't get the sense he wants to play football until he's 41, 42, the way Aaron Rodgers is. So if I think Mahomes is going to hang it up at a more respectable time in his life, more like Elway did, it's hard for me to imagine him going to another team because all the guys Speck mentioned were guys that probably, let's be honest, played football too long in their lives, and that's why they end up somewhere else. I don't know Pat's going to be that kind of guy in Kansas City.
Well, I think that is a very fair point, but, and this is obviously playing it down the road, you might have to play a while if you're trying to get to all of your goals. I think there's a chance that Patrick Mahomes has the most passing yards in the history of the league, has the most touchdown passes in the history of the league, and we certainly know he has a chance to get really close to Brady in Super Bowls. If you got 5 appearances by the time that you're 30, you got a chance. So you're right. Is Mahomes going to be somebody that plays until you're 40, or is he somebody that retires at 37, 38 years old? I would say that the current trend of quarterback is to play a little bit longer and not really cut itself short. So, Rob, I just pulled this up while you were talking because I was curious. So these are the top 10 most passing yards in the history of the league. I think you'd be surprised at how many of these guys played for multiple teams. Brady's number 1 by a long shot. We know Brady did. Breeze played for multiple teams. Peyton played for multiple teams. Favre and Rodgers. So out of the top 5 all time, all 5 of those guys went to go play for other teams. Now, number 6 has been Roethlisberger, only played for one team. I give Roethlisberger credit. Roethlisberger acknowledged that his career was winding down and just got out of the game. Roethlisberger probably could have played another year or two. Somebody would have gave Roethlisberger a check to come play for him. Roethlisberger just said, no, I'm out, and I'm going to retire a Pittsburgh Steeler. If you go through the rest of it, Rivers played for multiple teams. Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Dan Marino is there at number 10. I mean, what Spector is saying, the odds are certainly in the favor that Spector is right. Now, we got to see how things play itself out, but the odds are very much in his favor that when Patrick Mahomes is 39, 40 years old, just like most jobs, there is a younger, hipper, fresher quarterback, and Mahomes' time is over, and it's time for you to move out of the way and then let the young gun take your spot. That has been the history of the National Football League. So I don't ever want anybody to think that the Chiefs are too loyal to this person because we've seen time and time again, teams don't think that way. If San Francisco can move on from Joe Montana and New England can move on from Tom Brady, Kansas City could absolutely one day decide to move on from Patrick Mahomes. That is not outside the realm of possibility.
So on the text line brings to this point, and I don't have the comparison for those other guys at this point, but Mahomes is heavily invested in the city.
I mean, so was Peyton Manning, and then Peyton Manning went to go play for the Broncos.
I would tell you that Mahomes is more invested than Manning was. Like, I don't
know if that's the case. Peyton Manning got a children's hospital in Indianapolis.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare, but like Mahomes has the restaurant. He has 3 pro franchises he owns. He has the charity. Like, I'm not diminishing Peyton Manning's children's hospital. Don't get me wrong. That's an incredible thing he did in Indianapolis, but it was one entity. Mahomes has a little bit of money and a lot of different things in Kansas City. Like was it divested? Is that the term stock market types use? He's that way in Kansas City, but it's all Kansas City based. And maybe Kansas City wouldn't care. Maybe he leaves at 40 years old and goes plays 1 year for the Vikings. And Chiefs fans like, I don't care that you're a Viking or your best year here. I don't know. But it feels like he's so invested in Kansas City, it would feel odd for him to walk away from that because of all the money he's put into the community.
Let me ask you this, and we can move on because we got Michael Swain about to call in. Do you think this will be a Mahomes decision or a Chiefs decision in this hypothetical? Because it's a good question. What Spectre is saying, I think there's only 2 lifelong Kansas Cityans. Kelsey, I think we know at this point Travis Kelsey is not going to play for another team. I think Salvador Perez. I think Salvador Perez's contract, at the end of this, I think he is retiring a member of the Kansas City Royals. Do you think that decision, because I'm guessing that Tom Brady wanted to finish his career in New England. At one point, it became a decision that we don't want you here anymore, and New England was ready to move on. I think that Peyton Manning wanted to stay in Indianapolis. No, we got a chance to go get Andrew Luck, and we are moving on. I think a lot of times what happens is it is not the athlete's decision on what they want to do. The organization is the one that tells you it is time for you to move on. I think Michael Jordan wanted to continue to play for the Chicago Bulls. Hey, I'm only coming back if Phil Jackson is coming back. We don't care. We're not bringing back Phil Jackson. A lot of time it is the organization that makes the decision of your time is up and not the player.
So I don't want to sidestep your question because it's a fair question. I think the age really matters. Because Brady was, 41 when he left New England? He was after 40 years old. I understand why the Patriots like, hey, we can't lose a 40-year-old quarterback. Aaron Rodgers was, 37, 38? A little bit younger, but I understand why they made their decision the time they made it too. Like, if Patrick Mahomes decides to retire at 35, I think that will be him making the decision. But if he plays to 38, 39, 40, then I think it'll go the same way those other teams went, where the team is going to have to say, hey, we love you. We're going to build a statue of you one day. You are forever the greatest member of this organization, but a 40-year-old quarterback is not in the best interest of our organization. I think his age really matters in this conversation of who eventually breaks up with who.
Coming up on the other side, we're going to head to Lawrence, Kansas. KU has a big weekend coming up. They have a road game at North Carolina coming up tomorrow night, and on Saturday, they go on the road to play Arizona. KU football only needs one more game, and they will go to a bowl game for 3 times out of the last 4 seasons. We'll be joined by Michael Swain next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
FanDuel is putting you in control right from NBA tip-off because every day to start the season, you get to choose your reward. Take your shot with the Profit Boost token. You can play it cool with the no-sweat bet, or you can get a little backup with the Bet Back token. So what I like to do is I like to pick 3 players that I think are going to score at least 20 points. It gives you something to cheer for. It gives you something to root for. So you can put a little bit of extra sauce on it with the Profit Boot token, or you can just play it easy. You can play it relaxed with that no sweat bet. Whatever your pick is, whatever your strategy is, get into the game and play it your way. Head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ to make it your choice. FanDuel is an official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about? out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with autopay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A couple of problems on 70 eastbound just past 435. You've got the right lane blocked by a stall. Continue on into Blue Springs, 70 eastbound past Woods Chapel. 2-car crash off to the right shoulder and some onlooker delay. DeSoto, that's a stall. K10 westbound as you approach Kill Creek Road. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. We are happy to head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Michael Swain, who works with 24/7 Sports covering the Kansas Jayhawks. They go on the road to play North Carolina on Friday. They go on the road to play Arizona in football on Saturday. So the analogy I used a couple of days ago came from a documentary, the documentary Pony Excess on ESPN. They were telling the story of when one of the coaches saw Eric Dickerson play for the first time. So they drove out to a high school practice and said, I'm not going to tell you who we're here for, but I want you to point out who you think. After about 30 seconds, they pointed at Eric Dickerson. I made that analogy because if I had told you that KU has the #1 overall pick on their team, and you didn't know anything about him, all you heard was the hype, and I told you to point to him, I think you could have pointed out Darren Peterson in the first 90 seconds of that game.
Oh, my God, yes. I mean, it's one of those, you watch warm-ups
right? You can just tell he's got kind of that it factor. Man, he's such a special player, and I think what he's shown in basically one half of action in the 2 games he's played against high major teams, right? Think back to the Louisville exhibition, and then obviously what he showed against Green Bay. Like, it's one of those where you just see that he's why there's all the hype. The 3-point shooting is going to come and go, but man, you just watch him move. You watch him cut, create his own shot. Like, you can go back to the Green Bay game on Monday. You go end of the first half. Everyone in Allen Fieldhouse, everyone watching the game on ESPN Plus, you knew Darren was taking the last shot at the end of the first half. The guy guarding him knew he was taking the shot. It didn't matter, right? Gets the elbow, pulls up. It's just good. And so, you just see the talent that he has, and it's one of those where I'm most excited to watch a game like Carolina, where they're going to force him to do a lot, right? And I'm really interested to see how he handles all of that responsibility, because I think so far we've seen him act as a scorer, right? You watch against Louisville, you watch against Green Bay, and what he does putting the ball in the basket. Well, I'll tell you what, Carolina's going to really try and make him be a playmaker, I bet, and see how he handles how they're going to, what they blitz or whatever they do with the pick and roll coverage. And that's going to be the most exciting part, is seeing a guy as talented as Darren deal with the different challenges that teams throw at him. And so, again, first time I really think that, he's going to be in the high-pressure road environment. Sure, on the road at Louisville in an exhibition, that wasn't a sold-out place. It's going to be a whiteout at Carolina. Like, that is up there for one of the toughest atmospheres and one of the coolest atmospheres anyone can play in. And, man, I'm excited to watch Darren go to work and see what he can do.
The best compliment I think you can get as a basketball player is that you make things look easy, and he certainly has made it look easy so far in the first 2 games that we got a chance to see him play. A lot of people have already thrown that best freshman label of the Bill Self era on him, and we don't have a whole lot of evidence. You've seen him very closely. Are you ready to call him that, or do you need to see more?
Well, of course I'd love to see more, but, man – so I think the thing with Wiggins, right, you can look at some of his peak performances. Wiggins at his best, I mean, he could do it all. For me, what I think makes Darren so good is the fact that I think he's going to be much more consistent in impacting the game than Wiggins. Because obviously, right, you remember the Wiggins team, like, he was on the wing. He still needed the point guard to help him out. Like, Darren's the point guard. The ball will be in his hands 70% of the time when he's on the floor. He's going to have the chance to make a greater impact consistently than maybe someone like Wiggins was, or, if you want to talk about Joel and what he's able to do, even though talent-wise he was there, but not necessarily in terms of impact. I think that by the end of the season, it's going to be pretty clear that he's the best freshman, right, KU's ever had, and maybe the most talented player KU's had under Self. Obviously, you can go to, Mario Chalmers and Sean Collins and what they were able to do, but in terms of just raw basketball talent, man, I think Darren's going to be up there by the time the season's over.
Right now, we're talking to Michael Swain, who covers the Jayhawks for 24/7 Sports. Michael, for KU fans that only know 2 players, Darren Peterson and Flory Badunga, because he was on the team last year, give KU fans some other names to watch, because there's going to be a group of KU fans that tomorrow is going to be their first time watching them.
Yeah, for sure. I think Melvin Council is going to be one KU fans are really, really going to like. And for the long-tenured fans who can remember Tyshawn Taylor, it's so weird now where I'm saying, like, oh, yeah, if you remember Tyshawn Taylor, it was 13 years ago. Like, it's been a while. But, man, Melvin Council, like, he is going to remind you so much of Tyshawn. The athleticism, the speed, the intensity that he plays at. I think he's the perfect guy to have next to Darren Peterson, where, if you look last year at St. Bonaventure, right, where Melvin Council played, he played 40 minutes a bunch. Like, he never left the floor. And he's going to be a really steady presence in the backcourt next to Darren, and he's going to be a guy that isn't going to shoot a lot of threes, but, man, he's going to attack the basket. He's going to create a lot for others. He needs to be able to take some pressure off of Darren. Obviously, at the 4, you got Trey White, transfer from Illinois. He's going to fit more of your Jalen Wilson mold of the 4, not so much your KJ Adams or your too big look. 6'7". His three-point percentage has improved year over year. You're looking at him potentially, if you can get 33% out of him this year from deep, that's really good. He's got to play to his size against Carolina. Carolina's going to start, 3 guys who are 6'10" and above. So he's going to have to play big against Carolina. And then in the starting lineup, Cole Rosario is a guy that's had a little bit of a slow start. He's a true freshman from Miami, played overtime elite, enrolled early, reclassed up to be with KU. He can really shoot the ball. He's a super athletic player. he's just got to slow down. And Bill Self talked about it when we talked to him this week. Cole has played way too fast to start because he's excited. He wants to go make plays. He's just got to take a deep breath, let the game come to him. And when he does, I think he's going to be one of the best shooters on the team behind Darren.
I'm not used to looking at bracketology and seeing KU with the 6 by their name. Right now, Joe Lunardi has KU as a 6 seed. So if I set the over-under right now, let's say it's at 4.5. I know it's early in the season. Their best players are freshmen. We'll learn more about this KU team. If I say 4.5, do you think they'll do better or worse than that seed in the NCAA tournament?
Oh, I think better, and I feel pretty confident in saying that. I think this is a team that, because of the way the last couple of years have gone, because of the way the last 2 years are going to impact all the analytics, right, the Ken Palm and stuff going into this year, it's going to make KU look like a high teens, low 20s team going into the year. I think this is a top 15-ish team. And they could lose to Carolina, and that could definitely happen. But I think that by the time we get to March, this is a team that's going to be in the top 15, potentially top 10 if everything goes well. If, like, Bryson Tiller turns into an NBA draft pick that, you're expecting. If Cole Rosario shoots 40% from 3 or something like this team's ceiling, I think, can easily get up onto that kind of 1 or 2 line. It's just a question of what's the range of outcomes. But I do think right now KU as a team, looking at the rest of the season, is going to be a little bit underrated just based on the fact that, it's Darren, Flory, and who else, like you're saying. And people are going to look at the last couple of years and I think draw conclusions based off that. So I think it's one of those where this team, the fact that I think it knows what its identity is really going to allow it to have a successful season. And granted, I say that, and they could lose Carolina tonight, and you guys can come back and say, "Oh, well, Michael, are you sure?" I'd still say yes. I think by the time they figure this out, it's a team that I think I'd take the over in terms of seeding. So whatever you want to say, a 3-2, 4-1. I think that's much more likely.
Right now, we're talking to Michael Swain here for a couple more minutes. He covers the Kansas Jayhawks. They got a big weekend, North Carolina in basketball on Friday, on the road against Arizona in football on Saturday. Michael, let's transition to the football team. Maybe this is just my social media feed, but I'm getting a sense that fans are getting a little bit restless with Lance Leipold. I'm getting a sense that fans just want more, that they feel like they're kind of stuck in that 5 to 6 range, but they feel like they should be in that 7 or 8 range. Is that the sense that you're getting from KU fans right now and their relationship with their head coach?
I do, honestly. And I think that the trend line is, I think, what has people concerned. The hardest position to figure out in college football is quarterback, right? I think that's a pretty easy statement. I'm not breaking any news. Well, Kansas has a quarterback, right? Jalen Daniels for much of this season, was great in the top 10 in PFF. Now he's kind of 25th because he's had a couple rough games. But KU has the quarterback, and it's a team that just cannot get over the hump, right? Last year, you can look at, the Jeff Grimes hire and what went wrong there, and then defensively being inconsistent. Well, then, KU this year, the defense has been even more wildly inconsistent. And I think the way rivalry games are always going to determine a fan's perspective on a season. And it's understandable, right? That's what makes college football great, is the rivalries. Well, you look at KU blowing a fourth-quarter lead at Missouri. You look at KU being wholly uncompetitive off a bye week at home against K-State. That's going to influence your thinking. And then you've got all the other stuff, right? Losing by 25 at Texas Tech. Again, 25-point loss to K-State. KU has been a competitive football program under Leipold. He's done such an incredible job of taking KU from being a doormat to being a team that fans can be pissed when 5-7 seems like the lowest ceiling for this year's team. But it's all about the next step. You can look at the 9-win season back in 2023. KU has not built off that. And there has been plenty of money that's been poured into the football program, right? You can look at the stadium. You can look at all the facilities. You can even look at paying your quarterback top money, right? Jalen is a well-paid quarterback. KU brought out the boat to pay him. And you look at all of this commitment, and I think fans are saying, well, we've put in the money. Where are the results? And I think that's a perfectly fair question to ask, because you can look at the coordinator hires, right? Jeff Grimes struggling last year. The defense has not been good under DK McDonald this year. KU's every week gets something different. Some games teams are throwing on KU and throwing it deep with a lot of success. Sometimes teams are just running the ball down KU's throat. Each week it's something different. And I think you can look at the coordinator hires and be a little, it leaves some room for improvement and much to be desired. And so I understand where fans are coming from. It's why a game this weekend is so big against Arizona. can you get back to the bowl game? Right? That's just a starting point where KU could use those extra bowl practices for a younger team that's developing.
Last thing here, KU fans can never really answer this question for me, and maybe you can. What program do KU fans feel like they should be? Like if you could just start over and just say, hey, I'm looking at this program, whether it's Wisconsin or Iowa State. What program do you think KU should model themselves after?
Well, I think it's the Iowa State model, right? Because Iowa State does not have the best resources in the Big 12, right? But they consistently find ways to do more with less in terms of those financial resources. Kansas football is going to be at a disadvantage in the revenue-sharing era because of the fact the basketball program is so dominant. Money is going to go proportionally more to basketball than football compared to other schools. So the Iowa State model for me is what I look at. Hey, they figured out a quarterback. They find a way to go find diamonds in the rough and develop those guys. And I think if you look at them and the way their cycles have worked, right, you look at the Brock Purdy years where they were really good. They went to a Big 12 title game. They had a down year, but then they had everything bottomed out, and I believe it was in 2022 or 2023. I can't remember. But then they built it back up where then they're going to get a big senior class, and then those guys are going to leave, and then it's going to fall down again. So I think for KU, it's a question of what does that progression look like? Is it, a 4-8 season followed by a 7-5, followed by a 9-3, and then maybe you're competing for a Big 12 title, and then you kind of have to recycle again? I think that is something that is feasible for Kansas. They've got the money put into the stadium. That infrastructure is really going to help. Recruiting-wise, they're located right next to Kansas City, which year in and year out is producing Power 4 talent. It's just one of those where I think for KU, I understand where fans want to compete for Big 12 titles every year. That's not going to happen. Texas Tech's got more money. You've got teams like Utah and Baylor that are going to consistently put more money into football than Kansas is going to be able to. So how do you do more with less? That's the question for Kansas football, and I think it's going to be much more cyclical than consistently competing at the top level, just as a result of the financial situation KU's going to be in.
That is Michael Swain joining us on the show today. He's got a busy weekend covering the Jayhawks for 24/7 Sports. They got North Carolina in basketball on Friday. They got Arizona in football on Saturday. Now, I will tell you this, Michael. I will be glued into the basketball game. I don't know if I got to watch any more KU football for the rest of the season. I'll just let you watch it for me.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, check out Fog.net and you get all your coverage there.
Absolutely. That's our guy, Michael Swain, joining us on the show. Rob, if only one team could win this weekend, is it more important for Kansas football to win or Kansas basketball to win? I only bring that up because KU has to win one of these games to go to a bowl game. They got to win one of these games, and I know you want them to go to a bowl game. You can press the button right now. You can pick which team wins, the basketball team or the football team. Which team do you want to win this weekend?
Now, the phrasing of that question is important here. You said which is more important, not which would I rather have happen, because it's far more important the football program win. Like, when it comes to importance, it's the football program. If KU loses to North Carolina, they're not getting punished in March. No one on the selection committee is like, oh, in the second game of the season, Kansas went down to Chapel Hill and got beat. Should they now be downgraded to seed line? No one says that. This game is largely just for television and fun fodder. The same way the Champions Classic is.
If you guys lose this game, are you making a bowl game?
Maybe not.
Because you got on the road against Iowa State and you got home against Utah, and Utah's in the playoff picture. So
Utah's beating Kansas.
I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. This is the
feet, to quote you. They're going to put it on Kansas.
This is the most likely game you win if you're making a bowl game this year.
This is the answer. The question was most important. Yes, it's more important.
You're pressing it for the basketball team, though, wouldn't you?
Football. Football's got to win this weekend.
What do you think the average KU fan would say?
Basketball.
Even though a loss on the road at North Carolina on November 7th means absolutely nothing.
Average fan would say basketball. Average fan, I think, right now is a little turned off the football program after the K-State game. I think they're a little sour. It was bad. It was real bad.
It wasn't good. I don't.
It was real bad.
I mean, making a bowl game and going to a bowl game for 3 times in 4 seasons. I mean, that's only happened one other time in school history.
And Michael Swain pointed out there in the interview, KU isn't a senior-laden super veteran team. You know what's really important? Extra practice on the football field. Like, you could argue one of the reasons why they've struggled this season is because they didn't get extra practice last year when they fell short. So, yeah, more important, Kansas needs to go to a bowl game more than they need to beat North Carolina in a game that doesn't matter.
So I was thinking about you today as I was getting ready for the show because you brought to me some news that the Royals would be interested in Alex Bregman. So I was like, okay, well, let me do a little bit more reading. Let me do a little bit more research in Alex Bregman. So I was typing it up. And then, well, what do I know? I get an email from The Athletic, and they have their top 50 Major League Baseball free agents, and then ESPN does the exact same thing. So I was like, you know what? What do the experts think that he is going to get in terms of a contract? Because I don't know what Alex Bregman is worth. I have no clue what he's worth. I got to lean on them. Do you know what ESPN has his contract projection at? 5 years, $160 million. You know what I determined right then at that point? Alex Bregman is not coming to play for the Royals. He's not coming to play for the Royals. He just got off a 3-year, $120 million deal. He opted out after 1 year and looks like he's about to re-up and get a better contract. Let's go ahead and cross Alex Bregman off the Royals list. Are you ready to do that? Or are you still holding out hope that Alex Bregman's going to be playing third base for the Royals on opening day?
I mean, define hope, because I don't think they're going to get him, but I don't think the Royals have no shot.
You think they're signing that deal?
I don't want to sound like I'm putting a cape on for John Sherman, but this is not the David Glass era. Just 6 months, not even 6 months ago, 5 months ago, they dropped a heavy bag at Seth Lugo's feet. They gave Bobby Witt one of the most lucrative contracts in baseball, not in Royals history, although it was in Royals history, in baseball. What does John Sherman say all the time? He wants to invest in the team. Now, do I think he's going to drop $160 million at Alex Bregman's feet? Probably not. If you say no, the odds are forever in your favor. But I don't think it's a 0% chance. I think there is a chance, not high, but a chance that a premium free agent like a Bregman or a Bellinger gets a contract in Kansas City. I wouldn't bet it, but I don't think it's like plus 5,000. I think it's like a plus 800 parlay. You're probably going to miss, but you might hit. It's possible. That's how I feel about the Royals and a Bregman or Bellinger big money type of guy.
You know what I think the Royals are going to do? I think they're bringing back Mike Yastrzemski. Because I was looking at this same article, and you know what they had the contract projection for Mike Yastrzemski at? 1 year, $11 million. Now, I know the Royals. It doesn't sound like you know the Royals, but they're bringing back Mike Yastrzemski on a 1 year, $11 million deal. They can't really lose at that price. If he's healthy and he's the same player that he's been, he either helps you or at the deadline, you can just trade him and get the exact same prospects back that you gave up to get him in the first place. So Mike Yastrzemski coming back on a 1 year, $11 million deal, that seems like a no-brainer to me. I think they're bringing back Yastrzemski and they're going to do a platoon. I also think they're going to either package one of their starting pitching prospects or one of their catching prospects, and that's how they're going to get their pitcher. Taking a closer look at the top 50 free agents in Major League Baseball, I just don't think that there's a very obvious fit for them from a financial standpoint that really fits what they're looking for. If you're looking for an impact bat, I just think it's outside of what the Royals usually spend for these kind of things, where you can probably find that player via trade. You're just going to have to give up something valuable as a starting pitcher.
I agree with you that trade is the more likely outcome for the Royals to add their bat. I 100% agree. I also think Mike Yastrzemski is a player that I would welcome back in Kansas City. He's not a cure-all to their problems. He's not a solution, but I would much rather go into 2026 being like, hey, pencil in Mike Yastrzemski every day in right field, and you feel pretty good about the team. But if they're going to do Mike Yastrzemski and they're going to take it, I'll call it on the cheaper side, it has to be Mike Yastrzemski plus. It can't just be Mike Yastrzemski. I also think you're right. I'm treating the Royals a little different than you are. You're saying I don't know the Royals and you do. The Royals' payroll has increased every year under John Sherman. Now, it's never made a monumental leap. It's not like it went 1 year from $30 million to $200. But in 2024, their payroll was like $118. Last year was like $130. Like they add payroll every year under John Sherman. So I don't think it's outlandish to believe they try to land one of the big fish. I also would say John Heyman doesn't just throw stuff against the wall, and he was the one connecting Bregman to the Royals. I still don't think it will happen, but I don't think it's impossible to believe it could happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I certainly would like to see them take a really big swing. I just don't think that they're going to take it, at least not in that regards. I'm looking at a couple of other names. I don't know if they're a name that just really, really jumps out. Like, I'm looking right now at it, and a lot of the outfielders, they're just kind of that third/fourth outfielder, platoon guy. I mean, Mike Yastrzemski, Michael A. Taylor is still available, Tommy Pham. Like, this just isn't a really great class, I would say, for that kind of second tier of outfielder. That top-tier bat, there's a couple of those names, but those names usually get priced out of the Royals. And if the Royals are going to go shopping, at least in the free agent market, how I know them to go shopping, I think they'll be able to find somebody. I just don't think we're going to look at them as being an impact bat.
They're going to have to add the impact bat via trade because at least I can't speak for every show on the station. I can only speak for this show. If their offseason includes adding back Mike Yastrzemski and signing Tommy Pham, I'll just use one of the guys that was on that list.
They get a D+.
They get a D+, and I'm not going to treat them like a playoff team in 2026. I'm not going to be in March being like, all right, they can really do something if Vinny and Bob. No. I
do think they have to do a move that excites the fan base.
100%. They have. We talk about it with firing people all the time. About the give the fans something. They have to give the fans something to get excited about. They have to give them a player that when you're at Fan Fest or whatever it's called now at Kauffman, you want to go see that player because he's a Royal. And it has to work out. This analogy is not great because it didn't work out. But remember when me and you were kids, they had a Juan Gonzalez? That was an exciting time. Now, it blew up horribly in their face. But you add a player like that, a known commodity name, I think fans will be really bought into this team. It can't be Tommy Pham and Mike Yastrzemski, though. They can be part of it. They can't be all of it.
We got Binkley coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Coming up next, tonight is Thursday Night Football. Half of the AFC West is participating in Thursday Night Football. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
Bud Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer.
Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Shawnee Mission Ford, dealing with the problem downtown. That is a stall, but big backups from it. 670 westbound, past 71, right lane is blocked. And then eastbound 70 still there at 435. That's a stall, tried to make it off to the right shoulder. At Shawnee Mission Ford, you get it all. A great selection of new Fords, plus a lifetime powertrain warranty, along with the 1-year Select Plus protection. View inventory at ShawneeMissionFord.com. From America for America, Shawnee Mission Ford, on a mission to do more. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
The only place in town to hear the hypothetical button game is on The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
All right, we got a couple of news and notes to get to before Binkley joins us in the 4 o'clock hour. First up, our Thursday night two-leg parlays, brought to you by our friends at Circa Sports. Sports betting the way that it should be. It's coming soon to Missouri with Circa Sports. Less than a month to go. You don't have too many more weekends where you got to get up and then you got to drive across state line to put your bets in. December 1st, it's right around the corner, my fellow Missourians. We are almost there. All right, let's talk about Thursday night football. Now, I do not believe the Raiders are winning today, but I do know that Thursday night football is just weird. It's different. Thursday night football is its own entity. Short week. And if you look at it, if you want to talk about a potential trap game or look ahead game, I mean, wouldn't that be this one for the Broncos? You got Kansas City coming up in your building on the 16th. You got this home game against the Raiders. We know we're going to win this. You feel like you can just roll up at the stadium and your B- or C effort is enough to beat the Raiders, and they just make it more interesting than it needs to be. The Raiders have Brock Bowers back. They played fine last weekend. I'm just saying I'm not automatically putting this one in the win column, not with how weird Thursday night football is. So something just to keep an eye on. For our two-leg parlay, you know what? I am going to give me R.J. Harvey anytime touchdown. That's what I'm going to take. I'm going to take R.J. Harvey. I like that Broncos run game. I'm going to take R.J. Harvey anytime touchdown. Rob, what are you taking for our two-leg parlay?
Okay, so me and you, see this game a little differently. You're like, oh, weird stuff could happen.
Oh, you got the Broncos putting the beats on the Raiders tonight.
Putting the beats on the Raiders. The Raiders are bad. Also,
I mean, I don't think they're good either. I don't want you to think that I think that they're good. I just think that Thursday Night Football is weird.
They also, I mean, their best wide receiver got traded 2 days ago.
Well,
I know, Brock Bowers is awesome. Everyone likes watching Brock Bowers play football. Name their other target.
It also would be different if they were the home team as opposed to the road team.
They're going
kind of like the Giants earlier in the season.
They're going on the road. They're going to throw it to Jack Becht and Trey Tucker. No chance.
Jack Becht.
It's going to be bad. So I like the Broncos minus the 8.5 tonight.
Oh, you got them smoking them. Then.
I think it's going to be like 24-7. It's not going to be an appealing looking football game, but I got the Broncos cooking the Raiders. You parlay that with your RJ Harvey touchdown plus 416 over our friends at FanDuel. So you can make some real money if you think the Broncos are smoking the Raiders tonight.
Yeah, I don't mind that, though. I don't mind that. RJ Harvey touchdown and the Broncos do what they're supposed to do and take care of business. That's a 2-leg parlay. Special shout out to our friends over at Circa Sports. Did you guys know that today is National Basketball Day? Now, I don't know why they chose November 6th to be National Basketball Day, but here we are. Now, Rob, have I ever told you my He Got Game sequel idea? Have I ever told you this before?
I have not heard your He Got Game sequel conversation.
Okay, so this is what I would do. I would call the movie She Got Game, and you remember Jesus Shuttlesworth had a sister. In my movie, Jesus Shuttlesworth's sister Mary grows up to be a WNBA player, and she's been estranged from her father. So a very similar storyline that we had in the first one, but we can kind of modernize it, and we could find a current WNBA star that could play his daughter, Mary. She Got Game.
Are you bringing Denzel back?
Of course, you got to bring back Jake. I don't want to do this movie if we're not bringing back Jake.
I want to make sure Denzel is Ray Allen coming back?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, what else is Ray Allen doing? His sister Mary, he's been supporting her. They haven't heard from his pops. The whole big state thing didn't really work out. That would be my idea. That would be my pitch if I went to Spike Lee on what I think the next movie should look like. When was the last time that you think we got a classic basketball movie? Because we had them in the 90s. Hoosiers is a classic basketball movie. Blue Chips is a classic basketball movie. When was the last time that we got a classic basketball movie?
Hustle's really good. I don't know if Hustle's a classic.
I do like Hustle.
I like Hustle a lot. I don't know if Hustle's a classic, so I'm going to go backwards from Hustle. If it's not Hustle, I don't know what it. I mean, I don't think Air by the Michael Jordan story counts.
I wouldn't even consider Air to be a basketball movie.
That doesn't count.
It's just
to me.
a drama.
I wouldn't count that, so I'm going to move off that.
I like Air. I think Air was a good movie. It's not a basketball movie.
I actually thought Air was really well done.
I thought Air was very good.
I don't call it. There's no basketball played in the movie.
Not at all.
Other than the
clip, not even a little bit.
Other than the clip of Michael Jordan, which is just a clip of him playing in the final.
It's not even about Michael Jordan. The movie's about Sonny Vaccaro.
And his mom. I
mean,
that's those are the main characters, and I guess Phil Knight's a large character. So I guess my answer is gonna be Hustle, but I don't know you would put Hustle into the classic category. So a lot of people in the text line are saying Coach Carter.
That's what I was gonna say. I think the answer is Coach Carter. I think Coach Carter is the last classic basketball movie.
Is Coach Carter a classic, or do we like it because of our age? Because that came out when we were in high school, and
I think that's the same thing for most of these. I think Coach Carter is still a very enjoyable movie. Like tonight, if you and your wife are sitting there laying down and she says, I want to watch Coach Carter, you are happy with that pick and you are very much entertained for the entire time, even though you've seen that movie at least 10 times. Coach Carter is maybe it's not a classic. It is a very rewatchable basketball movie, and it is definitely about basketball.
100%. I just don't know if it's a classic. Glory Road? If I'm not going to have the ones I mentioned earlier, Glory Road, perhaps? I
like Glory Road.
Is that a classic?
You know what? I missed that Disney era where they were that's when we got Glory Road, and we also got Miracle. I love Miracle.
And then we got Invincible.
Invincible.
Around that time.
Invincible gets me emotional.
Gets you emotional. And then to start off that run, we got The Rookie, which
that's what I'm saying. They had a good run there for a while. I don't know why Disney stopped making these kind of movies. Let's go back to the Disney sports movie. That's what we need more of. All right, I have another movie idea since we are doing this for National Basketball Day. This is it. Why don't we update Blue Chips? Now, I don't think Blue Chips works in the theater in 2025 or 2026. I don't think people are going to the movie theater to see this movie. but you were telling me right now that you wouldn't watch an Amazon Prime remake of Blue Chips. I mean, that movie is perfect for the NIL era. That's basically what the movie is about. And think about all the different basketball players and cameos. I love Blue Chips. I actually don't know if there is a more realistic, well-done sports movie than Blue Chips. The basketball is real. They got real coaches. There's real drama. There's the shady booster in the background. There's trying to get this kid eligible. I love the movie Blue Chips. I would love a Netflix original, Amazon Video original remake of Blue Chips. Can we make that happen?
I'm going to say something that you're going to think is very unpopular. Is a remake of Blue Chips interesting? Because it's just a movie about recruiting. Like, that's at the time it was interesting because it was like, oh, all this dark, seedy stuff happens. Can you believe it? He gives the one guy on the farm the tractor. Like,
why can't it be about the transfer portal?
Because we know how that works. It's shady, but we all know about the shadiness. This movie was interesting because we didn't know about it.
No, we knew how shady recruiting was back then. You telling me we didn't know? We got a whole documentary about how nasty college football was in the 80s. We knew in the 90s that they were dropping the briefcase off, that they were dropping the duffel bags off with cash. If they made a modern movie about the transfer portal, because I don't think we want to know how nasty the transfer portal is. I don't think you want to know how many people are like, I bet Flory's recruitment story of those 2 weeks is a documentary within itself. I bet Flory was being I bet the amount of money and offers and promises that Flory, because you remember, Flory decommitted for a while. Everybody thought he was going to Auburn. Now, certainly made the right decision. Their head coach just up and left right before the season started, and then Flory recommitted to Kansas. I don't think you want to know what happened those 2 weeks in Flory's life. That needs to be a movie right then and there. That's Blue Chips for 2025. You also got Tony, who's failing TV. He's a dummy. That's what Tony is. And remember, you had the whole shaving points. Tell me that's not a worthwhile story in 2025. A college basketball player shaving points for a booster? That movie works in 2025. Coming up on the other side, we're going to continue talking about the National Football League. You know what? Nate Taylor, friend of the show, he confirmed the Breece Hall news. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by ShawneeMissionFord.com. New problem. Let's see, 70 eastbound as you approach 435. Right lane is blocked by this stall in DeSoto. This one is in the clearing stages. K10 westbound at Kill Creek. Right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you'd find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading land, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley has the machines to get it done. Lease the Cat 255 compact track loader for just $8.99 a month and take advantage of other limited-time demo and purchase incentives. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your Foley Equipment location or go to FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, football fans, tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL. Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by the Home Depot. You order, we deliver. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time. How pros get more done.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses, plus an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day, with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Binkley is going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes. Certainly a lot to talk to our guy, Jay Binkley, about. A couple of things I want to get to before we do that. The first thing is Nate Taylor, friend of the show, he confirmed the report. So we have now heard it from the New York side. We have also heard it from the Kansas City side that the Chiefs did offer a fourth-round pick for Breece Hall.
With Breece Hall, there was an offer on the table for a fourth-round pick from Breece Hall. I was told that it was from the Kansas City Chiefs that were willing to trade for Breece Hall. The Jets were steadfast in wanting a third. So they wanted a third-round pick for Breece Hall. They were not able to get one, only had a fourth-round offer.
So that was Connor Hughes. Here is Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report. Here is his report on why the Jets didn't pull the trigger on that deal.
Another huge name that could have been dealt was Breece Hall. Now, he was not dealt because the Jets did not get the draft capital they were seeking. I think a third-round pick would have got it done. Hopefully you saw my report about an hour or so before the deadline that Breece Hall, quote, wants to be out. I think he clearly saw the writing on the wall with not only Quinnen and Sauce traded, but Michael Carter traded earlier. This is a Jets team that is clearly in rebuilding mode. Breece Hall is averaging 5 yards per carry. He will be a free agent after the season.
I mean, everybody's story on this is the exact same. So I think it is just, I don't even know if this is a report anymore. This is fact. The Chiefs did make a run to try to go get Breece Hall. They stayed stead firm on their price. The Jets also did the exact same deal. Now, what is very important to note in this is no one reached the Jets' demands. I mean, the Jets had a price for Sauce Gardner. Someone paid it. The Jets had a price for Quinnen Williams. Somebody paid it. They had a price for Breece Hall. It's not like Kansas City missed and now he's going to play for fill-in-the-blank contending team. He is back withering away on the New York Jets. So I think that's very, very important to note. A couple of things in this segment, Rob. Let's start with this. Why do you think the Jets didn't budge on this? Because I'm assuming that the Jets have to have a plan. Maybe the Jets are just stubborn. Our price is our price. But I think you would agree that if Breece Hall doesn't sign with them in free agency, I find it hard to believe that they are going to get a better draft pick than what the Chiefs just offered them. Now, sometimes teams roll the dice and they lose. That happens all the time. But I wonder why they were so stubborn. They were so steadfast. They had an offer for a player. I mean, you would have to think that they have some kind of long-term plan, because if they've made the decision to move on from him, I don't know what the reasoning for keeping him would be when you had a solid offer right there on the table, when you could have grabbed it. You could have taken your draft pick. Clearly, you were in the draft pick acquisition business, and you try to get as many picks as you can to either move up in the draft or add talent to your roster.
They've got to be re-signing him, right? Like that is the only answer that makes sense to me. Because if you're the Jets and you say, we're not doing anything less than a third, that is our hard and fast line, which based on all the reporting was their hard and fast line. And 2 months when your season ends, because your season doesn't go into February, your season ends in 2 months, you then let him walk basically free of charge. I know you get like a 7th round comp pick maybe back. Like that's a win. It makes no sense to me. That the Jets have to be saying to themselves, it's a mediocre running back draft. We have a good one. He's 25. We think the running back market is not too expensive because we've offloaded all these expensive contracts. We have a little flexibility. We plan on keeping Breece Hall relatively long term. So if I'm the Jets and I'm trying to figure out why they didn't sell on Breece Hall, you got to figure an extension is coming, right? Maybe not mega, like a 2-3 year extension that just gets him in New York through his 27-28 season. Like that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Only thing.
I also think it is important to note, I mean, enough of the dust is settled from the trade deadline. Enough of the dust is settled. The Chiefs, at least openly, didn't really appear to be interested in anybody else. I don't think they put in an offer for Jalen Phillips. We've heard about the other teams that have put in an offer for Jalen Phillips. I don't think the Chiefs were one of those teams. So I think it was Breece Hall or nothing, which we got our answer. They ended up with nothing at the trade deadline. But have you seen any reason to think that any of the other players that got traded, that the Chiefs either put a bid in, or maybe there was a player that didn't get traded, kind of like Breece Hall, that they put their number in for? Because now that we sit here 2 days after the deadline, that name, that report, that story, that just hasn't come up from anybody, which makes me believe that it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the Chiefs were, at this point, only in seriously on Breece Hall, which only opens up a new wave of questions for me. Why were they not interested in maybe the D linemen? Now, maybe the price was too high. Like, we thought Jalen Phillips' price was too high. They could never pay Quinnen Williams' price. Like, maybe the price was the price, and that's why the Chiefs weren't active. But it seems like Tuesday afternoon, the Chiefs were trying to get Breece Hall done, and that was kind of going to be their move, and that didn't get done, so they didn't do anything else. Like it's odd to me they said running back only today, considering the fact their pass rush is so lacking.
I have another topic that I want to throw out there that is unrelated to this and just something that I've been thinking. You know how the Chiefs have this everybody's got to eat, and they've been kind of really like touting this, like that's their wide receiver motto, and it's a very, very nice motto. We have found out the one wide receiver that just does not eat in this scenario, which leads me this is me openly asking the question, do you think that the Chiefs offense is perhaps too focused on Rashee Rice? Because Tyquan Thornton was a capable receiver before Rashee Rice got here. He was capable. He was a part of their offense. I mean, he was getting targets. He was being used. He was catching touchdowns. Tyquan Thornton looked like a capable NFL player. Now, I understand somebody had to be the odd man out, and it sounds good, but there's only one football. Everybody can't get their numbers. Everybody can't get their stats. He went from, in the last game that they really used him against Jacksonville, he had 3 catches for 90 yards in the game. Since that game, where in The early part of the season, they're throwing it to him. He's getting targets. Since Rashee Rice has come back, they have 3 targets to Tyquan Thornton for 39 yards. And you got to remember, one of those catches is in the second half or late in the Raiders game, which kind of counts. I mean, you got to catch in the game, but it was a blowout. You were just not a part of their offensive philosophy. He didn't get a target in the Lions game. He didn't get a target in the Washington game. He got 1 target in the Buffalo game. They haven't used him or tried to use him. At the very beginning of the season, one of their big downfield weapons and big downfield threats was Tyquan Thornton. It appeared that he and Mahomes had a synergy. They were working together. Tyquan really turned his career around. Now he's just missing in action in the Chiefs' offense. I wonder if the offense now, in a way, feels like it is so about moving Rashee Rice around and getting him the ball and making sure that he gets used that I wonder if they are using all of their weapons effectively, because at least when it comes to Tyquan Thornton, I mean, he's not on the Elijah Mitchell plan, but he ain't that higher up than Elijah Mitchell right now in their offensive plan. He hasn't touched the ball in 2 weeks.
I think he had 1 target in the game against Buffalo. It was one of those Hail Marys in the end zone. Like, you have stats in front of you. He did get a Hail Mary opportunity in the end zone, which, again,
That's his 1 target.
It counts.
That's what I'm saying. You think about that.
But
so just think about it. Think about it. In 2 weeks, their last 2 games, the only time they've tried to throw it to Tyquan Thornton was on a Hail Mary at the end of the game. Then he's not part of your game plan anymore. How do you go from maybe in the early part of the season, he was their most reliable and best receiver in the first 4 weeks of the season, to now he's just not part of your offensive philosophy? That's odd to me for a guy who really showed you promise. He looked like a 650, 700-yard receiver in the early part of the season. Now he can't get on the field.
It makes no sense to me. And now I definitely had this thought watching the last couple of games about Tyquan Thornton. I remember this show had the conversation, would you trade Tyquan Thornton?
I was just throwing it out there.
I was steadfast, yes. I was a yes on trading Tyquan Thornton.
I still think he's a good player.
I think he's a good player. But if he's a good player who's just collecting dust, adding cobwebs and watching from the sideline.
Basically waiting for somebody to get hurt.
Yeah, that's not a good use of personnel. He's not fully Jalen Royals. Let's use a wide receiver they don't use as opposed to Elijah Mitchell. He's not full-fledged Jalen Royals, which is a concept.
I don't know Jalen Royals exists.
Exactly. He's not that. But he's far more Jalen Royals-ish than he is Rashee Rice-ish. Like, he is kind of – he has a helmet on, which I don't know if Jalen Royals does each week. He has a helmet on, but he gets a front-row seat to watch them force-feed the ball to Worthy and Rice, and that's kind of it. I guess maybe at the end of the season he jumps Hollywood Brown, but nothing about the Chiefs' actions makes me think he's going to jump Hollywood Brown on the depth chart.
And, I mean, the Chiefs didn't have a good day offensively against the Bills, so I don't want to overreact to it. And, I mean, I understand why their targets are the way that they are. Rice got 7 targets. Worthy got 7 targets. Kelsey got 5 targets. Brown got 4. And then after that, it's a little bit of everybody. It is just Tyquan was such a help for them and such a downfield weapon that it's jarring to see them go from him being kind of at the center of what they've done offensively to basically, I mean, he is the odd man out. If we had this topic a month ago, hey, whenever Rice gets back, who's the receiver that's going to be affected the most? I don't know if I would have answered Tyquan Thornton. I probably would have answered Juju or would have answered Hollywood Brown. Well, we got the answer then. The answer is Tyquan Thornton. He has just not been a part of the Chiefs' offensive game plan since that happened. So after the bye, there's just always something that's different. I also understand why he's around. If an injury happens, next man up, you feel really good about who that next man up is. But just a guy who's shown you an ability to make big plays and catches down the field to now not really have a use for him in your offense, it's just a weird transition we've seen over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined in studio by our guy Jay Binkley. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
This holiday season, Target has your back with irresistibly cool gifts for everyone on your list. For the trendsetter, start with affordable beauty kits and gift sets. Need something the whole fam will love? Grab snuggly matching fits in every size and style. And for the thrill seekers, don't forget the hottest toys and tech of the season. Target's got you covered with the best deals for endless fun. Shop in store or online. And step into the holidays with Target. Restrictions apply.
Hello, Crushers. It's your host, DJ Divine, telling you that Candy Crush music season is here. Tasty. Conquer levels to mix your own track and win sweet rewards. Divine. Now let's swipe to the next track. Take it away, Thundercat. Candy Crush music season. Play now. From November 3rd to December 7th, selected players level 36+. Terms apply. See in-game. Optional in-game purchases.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. With precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way. With a dedication to lasting quality. Trusted performance and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Good afternoon. A new problem down near Olathe. That's a stall. 35 northbound as you approach 119th. Right lane is blocked. Out near Blue Springs, icy yellow and some red, so delays. 470 northbound as you approach 70 eastbound off to the right shoulder. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you. Jay Binkley is here. to talk a little bit of football, man. Binkley, how you doing, man?
Carrington, how are you? I thought you want to talk MLB free agency just started.
You want to talk Alex Bregman?
Yeah, why not, man? I'll take it.
Binkley, I love you. You know that. And you are always welcome on the show. But there has never been a time where Rob and I were thinking about who we wanted to talk baseball with.
I'm kidding.
And Rob looked at me and was like, hey, you know who's really going to break down baseball hot stove? Why don't we bring Binkley in studio? Binkley, we talk football when you come here.
I know.
Football, food.
I went on a Buffalo show last week, and I was like,
and beer.
We talking Royals? I was talking Buffalo. Do you guys have me on Talk Royals? What's going on?
All right, so there's a lot of stuff to get your opinion on. Let's start with the trade deadline and how you think the Chiefs handle it. I don't have a problem with what the Chiefs did. We were talking about this leading into it. Do you want the Chiefs to make a move, or do you want them to make a transaction? I think the Chiefs tried to make a move. Trying to go get Breece Hall is a legitimate move, but I'm not trading a top 100 pick for a rental player. Now, if we're talking about Breece Hall had a year or 2 years left on his rookie contract after this, then yeah, I would have traded the third-round pick for Breece Hall, and I would have moved forward. But that's not the deal. You got to trade the third-round pick. You get 8 games left of Breece Hall, and at the end of it, he either walks or you sign him to a top 10 running back contract. I wouldn't have paid that price for Breece Hall. Nobody in the league paid that price. What do you make of either the Chiefs offering the 4th-round pick and not going up to the 3rd, and or the Jets staying steadfast, and hey, if you don't got a 3rd-round pick, we're not trading them to you?
Well, I agree with Rob and what he was talking about the Jets. It'll be interesting to see what they go. And I do feel that by not moving this, they will plan to pay Breece Hall because they're doing this restructuring now, and guys are losing their jobs, and they're figuring out for the future that direction. If they see Breece Hall as the future, like I can see that they're going to pony up and pay him. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. If Breece Hall kind of looked the other way, did a Myles Garrett type deal. You know, I want to leave. Oh, how much you paying me? I'll stay. You know, maybe that kind of situation. But the Chiefs don't have the draft capital really to throw out there. Like, it's unfortunate they really don't. They have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 2 4ths, a 5th, and probably a 7th, a comp pick with the D-Hop when it comes back. So they don't have that, like, pick swap type stuff as previous years. And typically that one move doesn't put you over the edge. I mean, you heard John Lynch, the Niners, talking about this and stuff. I agree with it. There's not that one move typically you make. And the other thing I caution about, and when I was with Cody yesterday, Ross Tucker was on, and I said, because he played in the league, and I said, how tough is it, Ross? Because he moved during the season. How tough is that when you go to another team? Like, that's the one thing, too. Like, Andy Reid's offense is tough, and we know that. Like, it is tough to get. And even Andy Reid talked about in minicamp, having these receivers back to kind of know the offense. Even though Hollywood was hurt and stuff, and Rashee Rice, they were still here. They still know the offense and what they like to do. But coming here like a running back, just coming right here and being planted right here for the Kansas City Chiefs and saying, go. It's go time. And Ross was right. He says there's certain positions you could maybe get away with this, but it's not many because the quarterback has to understand what you're doing. And you have to do things like the quarterback wants you to do. And I remember a couple games ago, Noah Gray, right? They were throwing the ball to Noah Gray, and Mahomes missing. Mahomes put it right about the 5-yard line where it hit the ground. But Noah had turned to the inside because that's probably where the route had him go. But he was running right into a safety. Mahomes is like, hoping for that connection that receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks have, like he has with other people, like Rice and Kelsey. And Noah didn't do it. Noah kept going. He cut the route like he was supposed to, straight to the safety. And Mahomes just planted the ball right there where he was hoping he would go. Again, the play you call, the play you hope for. So it is tough when you bring somebody into different situations. I thought it would be tough. The Jets are a weird deal because, again, if they don't sign him, you get nothing. And he walks. We'll say they franchise him. It was a little over $11 million last year for the franchise tag on running backs. That'll go up to about 12.5 this year. So I am surprised in that. I didn't think the Chiefs would make a home run move on defensive line. Now, with good depth coming in, this is a big reason why the Chiefs bring back familiar guys, because they know the system, because it's tough with Spags, it's tough with Andy Reid. So it is that familiarity with them that's very important to the offense and defense. Like a Calais Campbell, somebody like that, a low-key move like that had 2 sacks in that Monday night game. He's up to 5. He's 39 years old.
There was
He's
no
a one-year
rumblings
contract.
around him. He was a guy I would have been very interested in, but his name just never came up for any team.
And the problem is they won that Monday night game in against Dallas.
They're going to lie and convince themselves they're in it.
Well, not only that hurt our circa picks with our team 965, the circa picks on Dallas, but Arizona get this false sense of how good they are. And I think had they lost that game, that's why when Jerry Jones said he made a trade or whatever and wouldn't tell anybody what it was, I think a lot of it was contingent upon them winning or losing. that game as far as the compensation going forward. But, yeah, Arizona won that game. Now Jacoby Brissett's going to start for Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray's hurt now, so they're going to go in this direction. And this false sense of being better than they actually are. Of course, they did have that ball dropped at the 1-yard line. But Calais Campbell probably made the most sense because he's a veteran. He's 39. He's still productive. He would come in here and I think be perfect.
He's owed no money.
He's owed no money, and the Cardinals would have picked up half of it. The vested veteran, they would have picked up half of it. You wouldn't have to waste picks. It would have been a nice move. Breece Hall would have been good, but does that signify, okay, Pacheco, I can understand. He's probably going to walk after the year. Kareem Hunt, you're probably not going to bring him back because I think we forget that they actually paid Elijah Mitchell more signing bonus and contract than what Kareem Hunt got.
I have no problem with they bring back Kareem Hunt next season. I just want them to go
He's
out
been so
and look
effective on thirds down. So I'm with you.
I want them this offseason to go find RB1. If you were telling me that they're either going to go out in free agency or in the draft, second round, third round pick, so you bring in a young 22-year-old running back who's got 4 years of club control, Kareem Hunt, you got Brashard Smith as your third down back, throw it out of the backfield, and then you can kind of go from there. To me, that's a really good plan if that's what they want to do next
And Brashard fits in the running back room nicely. I wouldn't be against the Chiefs throwing a dart in the third or fourth. Again, they have 2 fourth-round picks. Go a little bit higher. Sure, we look at this past year's draft and think, all right, Brashard probably would have gone in the 5th round maybe 2 years ago. The running back class was pretty full this year. He was better in the 7th rounder, we believe, as far as his value was concerned. But maybe they'll throw a pick earlier on. But now things are starting to add up. Like the Chiefs in the 1st round, they're going to go defensive line. They're still going to go edge. You're going to use 2 picks on the defensive line. Then all of a sudden you have to start thinking tight end as well. Unless you think tight end 1's on this roster. If Kelsey leaves, tight end 1's not on this roster.
I think a lot of people just want the football deadline to be a lot like basketball and baseball. What I mean, if you're in the NBA, for example, the Houston Rockets, the Rockets are going to need a point guard at some point this season. You are going to be able to find a point guard at the deadline because that's how the basketball trade deadline works. In baseball, if you need a starting pitcher, there's one available at the deadline. If you need a closer, if you need a bat, you can always find that. That's just not the way that it is. Like this year, think about it. If you were a team that needed a rush in, there was one rush in that was available, and it was Jalen Phillips. There weren't 4 or 5 different pass rushers that were available. So I'm happy with the Chiefs keeping their draft stock that they have. I think the Chiefs have enough. I think the Chiefs roster is talented enough to win the AFC West, go to another Super Bowl, and win another Super Bowl. Now the expectation is going to be, well, how do you get more out of that run game? How do you get more out of your defensive line? But I believe wholeheartedly, I think the Chiefs have enough pieces to get to where they want to go with their current 53-man roster.
It's this false pretense that the trade deadline is going to push you over the edge when we know how tough it is in the NFL to understand the schemes and the systems teams run. That's why they have mini camps. It's why they have long training camp. It's why they try to do things and figure it out. It's why they have 3 preseason games to figure out what the coach is going to call. Because there is something tough about just going to another team and picking up their system right away. We've seen it with the Chiefs. It doesn't happen. There's a big reason why guys come back to the Chiefs that have been here before because they understand it. But the draft isn't won, or the teams aren't won how good they are by what they do at the trade deadline. The season's won in March and April. It's done with free agency. It's done with the draft. And maybe a few veterans after the June 1st cuts that can come into your team but still get to go mini camp and go to training camp with you. But for all intents and purposes, your team is built in March and April.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley here talking a little bit of football. We asked this question yesterday on a scale from 1 to 10. So 10 being you're absolutely terrified. How worried are you about the Chiefs winning the AFC West?
I think it's pretty much a coin flip. Put them at a 5. Because, honestly, a lot will be decided that Denver game at Denver. Because this schedule lightens way up once December starts. Because then it's Houston, the Chargers, and the Broncos are the home games. The only road games are at Tennessee and at the Raiders. It's very, very comfortable. But at Denver, then the Colts the week after that, and then the Cowboys. You just never know what you're going to get from the Dallas Cowboys when the Chiefs play them. But, yeah, I put it at a 5 because this game means everything as far as winning. They lose this game, the West is done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now at the Broncos. So let's assume they win this game tonight. They're at home. They're 8.5-point favorites. They're then 8-2. You're right. They got the home game against the Chiefs. The Chiefs might be a slight favorite in that game, but that's basically a coin flip kind of game.
There should be one loss, too, because that screwy job at the Colts at first game of the year.
100%. They also probably should have lost the Giants game, too. You know what I mean? Like
I get 33 points.
Yeah, they won one they were supposed to win, and then on the other end,
it's a lot like Chiefs were last year.
But then if you're looking at it, I mean, Washington, they're going to be favored. On the road against Vegas, they're going to be favored. They got a really exciting game late in the season against Green Bay. I mean, one of the best teams in the AFC, one of the best teams in the NFC.
Weird team, though. A weird team. A good team at times, but a team that loses to the Browns, the Panthers, and ties the Cowboys. Extremely, extremely unreliable team.
You have no clue. Like, in that game, I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay won 31-17. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost 24-3.
100%.
You
don't know what you're going to get, man. It's that box of Cracker Jacks, man. You don't know what you're going to get.
Would have absolutely no clue. They got Jacksonville, Kansas City, and the Chargers to finish out the season. I think you have to go into it thinking that the Broncos will at least win 11 games this year. I don't know how you can look at their schedule and find how they win less than 11. I mean, I would say somewhere between 11 and 13 seems realistic to me with the Broncos. So if that's the case and you're the Chiefs, you really, really got to get going if you got to get to 12. You're at 5-4 right now.
Yeah, it's a very good defense Denver has at getting to the quarterback. I compared yesterday when I was on with Cody, the 2000, because people are bagging this Broncos offense. Their numbers are almost identical to the 2024 Chiefs. I mean, the 25 Broncos are actually better in some categories than the 25 Chiefs offense that went to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that offense is serviceable, but the bottom line is, and this is what scares me the most about Denver, is like the Chiefs last year, they were finding ways to win, block field goals, doinks, in Carolina. They were finding those ways to win, and that's what good teams do. Broncos, even though these fourth quarter comebacks, like against the Giants or what they did against the Houston Texans, they're finding a way at the very end, because that's Bo Nix's best quarter is the fourth quarter. And that's important, because that's what you want your best quarter to be for your quarterback. But instead of being the Raiders, they're finding a way to lose like they did against Jacksonville this past weekend. Bad teams find a way to lose. Good teams find a way to win. And unfortunately, Denver's finding that way to win. And that's the scariest part about them to me is they're not melting down at the end. They're getting better.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. If you're the defensive line, you should feel embarrassed. The fact that Josh Allen dropped back 26 times and completed 23 of his passes for 273 yards and didn't turn the football over, that's a direct indictment on you. The Bills' defensive line affected the game. Look at Mahomes' percentage. Like, they had a tremendous impact on the game. That was not the case on the other side. Who are you most disappointed in when talking about that defensive line? Because to me, the name is Charles Omenihu. Like, this was supposed to be your year.
It was going to be his money year, right?
100%.
It was going to be his money year. His last chance for him to get the big contract. He's only back with the Chiefs because he didn't get that big money elsewhere. So, yeah, that's a disappointment. Chris Jones, wear and tear. You're just not getting the same Chris Jones that you've got in the past. That's where I thought they really needed help. I really liked Omar Norman a lot, and I really liked what he was going to do to this defensive line. They tried to put all that weight on him originally and put him, right at nose tackle when he's a 3, 3 technique. They tried to do too much with Omar Norman Lott, and of course he's gone for the year, so that's bad. But credit the Bills in what they did. They won this game because of the offseason. Bringing in Bosa, 5 of their first 5 draft picks were all on defense. The Buffalo Bills went through the draft saying, we've got one team to stop, and that's the Chiefs. Forget about the division. Forget about the Jets, the Patriots. They're going to have to worry about them eventually, and probably this year if New England end up. But they didn't really consider New England that team. They still considered Kansas City. It's not like the Chiefs when they brought in Spags that stopped that undefeated season with the Patriots. The Chiefs knew it wasn't a division. They knew they had to stop New England. They had to stop Tom Brady. So that's why they brought in Spags. That's why they went out and got Tyrann Mathieu and the Honey Badger and all these guys to stop Tom Brady. It was to stop the New England Patriots. And I credit the Bills because they went through this whole offseason and the draft to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. Denver, they draft Jahdae Barron in the first round, cornerback from Texas. That was smart because Surtain's hurt. He got an interception a couple weeks ago. He had been running the second team, but he's starting now. So that was a good move. The Raiders drafted a running back in the first round. The Chargers drafted a running back in the first round. You look at these teams and how can we stop Kansas City that have not won 9 straight divisions? They keep going to the AFC title game. When you have a team that's gone to 7 straight, you got to figure out how to beat them. Forget about everybody else in the division. Forget about everybody else. How can we beat this team? And that's the way Buffalo approached the season.
So this is how I have the AFC kind of figured out. I think there's 4 teams that I would say at this point you have to look at as locks to make the postseason. The Colts, Patriots, Bills, and the Broncos. Unless an epic collapse happens from those 4 teams, I think you can narrow them, and those 4 teams are making the postseason. Either Pittsburgh or Baltimore has to make the postseason because of the AFC North. I don't really see a scenario in which both of them make it, but it's certainly possible. But one of those teams has to make it. It seems to me then it's between the Chargers, Chiefs, and the Jaguars. And as of now, and I know they play the Chargers again, the Chiefs don't have the tiebreaker against either one of those teams. So I'm looking at it I think the Chiefs are going to make the postseason. So I'm not here to fear monger, like, oh, they're in danger of missing it. But, man, they really got to start to get to work in this. Like, these next 2 games are going to tell us everything we need to know about the Chiefs, because the championship Chiefs that have been to 3 straight Super Bowls, that have been to 5 of them, they win both of these games. They are 7-4, and they quiet all of the conversation about them. The Chiefs that have done that, they figure out a way to win these 2 games.
That's why it's so imperative for these next 2 games, just to set the bar. You beat Denver at Denver, and then you beat the Colts. Everybody's loving the Colts right now. And here's the one thing about the Colts. You got to caution yourself from the NFL media perspective and how they're looking at the Colts. Is this another Johnny-come-lately team? Like we've seen so much in the AFC. Do you really believe Daniel Jones is that guy for the future? Because I'll say this. Daniel Jones had wins over the Cardinals, Miami, the Raiders, the Titans twice. That's great. He goes to Pittsburgh, albeit the 32nd ranked pass defense. He threw for 352, right? Good game, but they lost. And he turned the ball over 5 times. 5 times. For a guy they're calling MVP. 3 picks, 2 fumbles. Actually fumbled 3 times, lost 2 of them. So 5 turnovers went to Daniel Jones. The schedule gets tougher. Like the schedule for the Colts gets tougher now, so we're going to find out if they're one of those for real teams or not. The Chargers are weird because Joe Alt means everything to that team, like on the offensive line. When Rashawn Slater goes down as their starting left tackle with the same injury of Simmons that he had back in college, that patellar tendon, he goes down. Joe Alt moves, because he was a left tackle at Notre Dame. He moves from the right to the left. And then Pipkins got hurt. And then guess what? The Chargers were vulnerable. People were beating them, right? They were a mess. That offensive line was a complete mess. It was in shambles. Herbert was getting hit, and their team wasn't playing well. Guess what happened? Alt came back. Pipkins came back before the Vikings game. Look what happened. They destroyed the Minnesota Vikings. Now Alt gets hurt in Tennessee. He's gone for the year, and they had to hang on to beat the Tennessee Titans. So not really as worried about the Chargers as Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, I mean, these 2 teams, they have the same amount of losses, the Chargers and the Jaguars. The Chargers have 1 more game than them. The Chargers haven't had their bye week yet. That's coming up. Which, if I told you only one of those teams makes the postseason, it sounds like you think Jacksonville then will make the postseason over the Chargers, based on the injuries.
Based on the injuries, yes. We'll see how this offensive line comes together, but right now it's been a mess. And then Hampton, when's he going to come back? But that offensive line, Vidal's been doing well, so we'll put it there. And they got Jarrett Patterson there, too. But the Jags are such a weird team. I don't know if I 100% trust. Like, the Raiders really needed to beat them because they had the Chiefs right there, but because Jacksonville has that tiebreaker. I don't know. Jacksonville's so up and down. And Travis Hunter's injury and stuff like that, I just don't know what to expect. So the Chargers might find a way to sneak in.
I want to play this audio for you. This is Steve Sarkisian. Listen to this. This is very interesting stuff from a Power 4 coach.
Everybody wants to fire their coach. Who are you going to hire? There's all these jobs out there right now. Who's everybody going to hire? I don't know. We'll find out. Somebody's got to be the head coach. The amount of, 1 week you're a hero, the next week you're a zero mentality that fan bases and people want to have. Surely coaches want some security to what they sign up to go do. We work really hard. And I get it. We all want to win, and we're all busting our tails to try to win. And sometimes things don't go your way, especially in our conference. It's tough. And so the idea that coaches don't want some security in the jobs that they take, that doesn't quite make sense to me. It should be like, man, somewhere in here, somebody has got to be willing to say, hey, let's see if this can work itself out. Not every year, not all 16 teams in the SEC are going to go to the playoff. It's just not reality. We're talking about trying to get 4 or 5 teams in this year. Last year we got 3.
This is what I want to get your opinion on. I am not arguing that Missouri is a better job than Florida, but I do think you can argue that it is better to coach at Missouri than to coach at Florida. Right now, Eli Drinkwitz is the 10th highest paid coach in college football. I don't think he's the 10th best coach. I don't think he is. So if Missouri's going to pay you like you're a top-end coach, you don't have nearly the expectation that you will out of Florida or a Penn State or an LSU. I mean, I'm not saying that Eli won't take the jump. It's certainly a possibility. But I think as you're starting to see, man, taking these jobs at Florida or Penn State, I don't know if they're the surefire thing. A couple of years ago, if you were the coach at Indiana and you had success, you would 100%. You had to take the jump to go take that. But I'm not sure if all of these openings right now, somebody is going to leave this coaching cycle unhappy about who they get. And I think they're going to end up ultimately making a downgraded head coach off of what they got.
Yeah, it's crazy because Kurt Cignetti at Indiana, you would have thought he would have been the hot name. Of course, he gets a pay increase, but that school, Indiana, has more losses in the history than anybody else, 7-15, which is crazy. So he's staying there. Lane Kiffin's been putting out some weird stuff that he might be staying, at Ole Miss, that the grass isn't always greener somewhere else. The problem is Florida and Penn State will get pretty desperate at some point, and that money might get to a place where Eli really has to think about it. But you know what? It's proven. Look at Texas Tech and the money they're spending in nil. I mean, they're proving you can win at Texas Tech and anywhere else because this nil has changed the game, and Texas Tech spends just as much money as anybody else. So it depends on what your boosters are willing to pay and how much they're willing to pay for a buyout. But, yeah, the pressure is going to be at Florida and Penn State. And just ask James Franklin how it was. This guy was in the playoffs last year. If he beats Oregon in overtime, who knows what happens?
I mean, he still has his job for sure. And that's why I understand why we went to this 12-team playoff. And ultimately, I think the 12-team playoff has been good for the enjoyment of college football. But you and I come from the era where, man, going to the Alamo Bowl was a big deal. Going to the Holiday Bowl was a big deal.
1980, see that there was only 8 bowl games.
Or going to the Cotton Bowl was a big deal. Now, if your team doesn't make the playoff, no one cares how your season went.
Yeah.
So if you're not
making a bowl game, get you fired.
So think about it. If you're not one of those 16 teams, man, the pressure is on you. And when I hear the AD at LSU say we expect to be in the playoff every single year, that's just not realistic to me at LSU. And LSU is one of the best programs in the country. It is not realistic to think that every single year you're going to be in the playoff. So if you have that kind of pressure, why not stay at an Ole Miss or stay at an Indiana? Indiana's going to pay me $12 million a year, and if I win 8 games, I'm not going to get fired? You can argue that's a better situation
Well,
for
this
you.
transfer portal's changed everything, and I don't think these coaches really adjusted to what it means. Like, beforehand, they controlled everything. They controlled where you could transfer to. It was out of the conference and everything else. Now you can pick players to come in, and they change your direction. Look how many teams have got a different quarterback from the transfer portal, and it changed the whole team. Indiana, Mendoza, it's one of the Heisman front runners. He came from Cal. Like, he was a transfer from Cal. Jack Endries, the tight end from Texas, doing great things there. He was the tight end at Cal. You can flip your whole team's direction, typically by the quarterback going to a different school. But name, image, and likeness changed the game. These other schools are just as competitive as everywhere else. But now you're running into maybe Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. Is he going to take the Arkansas job? I mean, you're running into these type of things. Then all of a sudden people are going to start looking at James Franklin, Brian Kelly, Jimbo Fisher, and getting some retreads back in the coach. But I do think the name, image, and likeness has just totally changed the game. Just like Texas Tech having more money than anybody else to spend. And you got a high-profile guy in the NFL that they wear his logo on their uniform sometimes. I mean, that's a big step for Texas Tech.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If Eli Drinkwitz ends up taking another job, James Franklin would be near the top of my list to take over at Missouri. They would be a consistent, They would be a consistent, good program at Missouri if they got James Franklin. We'll keep talking football with Binkley coming up on the other side, and my favorite segment's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
A blown left headlight is making Erica's drive to her son's soccer game darker and darker. So she goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Where a friendly AutoZoner finds her 2 new bulbs.
These lights have the most clarity.
And helps her get back on the road so she can brighten her drive and the cheering section.
All right, all right.
See clearer and drive safer with new lights. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey, winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is gonna be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Heartland Foundation Repair. Okay, Shawnee, the crash still there. 35 northbound past Johnson. Right lane is blocked. Near Blue Springs, I see a lot of red, big delay. 470 northbound on the ramp to 70 eastbound. Right lane is blocked. Polyfoam is the most durable and permanent solution for your sinking driveway and garage floor, and Heartland Foundation Repair's quality of work and integrity of word will get it right the first time. Let their Polyfoam solution solve your sinking problems at heartlandfr.com. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
So, Rob, I'm just now seeing this, that we are going to find out what teams will be playing at Arrowhead on December 5th. That's when we find out what the draw for the World Cup is. Bink, how excited are you for the World Cup to be coming to Kansas City?
I think it's fun. I think these type of events are fun. I'm going to watch it pretty much. If Team USA is on, I'll watch it. But I think it's kind of cool Kansas City's getting this. Clearly, it's a lot of money for the city, so I think it's great.
We're going to get to random question time here coming up in a bit, but I have a question before we get to the random questions. If you guys have a question for Binkley, 913-586-7965, 913-586-7965. We'll go through some random questions here coming up in just a bit. Binkley, I am on my home buying journey. This is the first home that I'm looking at purchasing. What advice, what tips would you have for me as I'm going through this for the first time?
You've been watching HGTV and House Hunters and all that.
No, I have not been.
You're not on that show yet?
Not yet. I'm not at that phase right now.
You need to apply for that. Get on that show.
Okay, right now, though, I am on the Zillow looking through and where could I potentially go take a look at. So I'm not at that part where I'm like, all right, I know where I want to go, and now I'm doing renovations. I'm just trying to go through the process of getting approved and all that kind of stuff.
But you don't like a lot of renovations, do you? I mean, it just...
I'm not looking forward to that
but you
part
like
about
turnkey. I mean, you just go in, you set your stuff down, your TV, and you're ready to go.
That's what I would want that to happen, but I'm guessing that's probably not going to be the case.
But do you want the living room, or do you want the man cave where you have all your TVs and stuff? I mean, where are you going to spend the most time? Because that's important. Like if you truly want like a guy's place, have a little bar, put your Miller Lights on, get your Miller Lights, your little fridge, and have little TVs on the wall. The man cave becomes really important. Like, does it have a finished basement?
I was talking to Spectre about this because he was like, "Oh, I hear you're buying." I'm like, "Oh, yeah," and he's like, "Home ownership is the worst." Like nobody,
he's not wrong.
Nobody that owns a home sounds excited about owning a home, which just has me like right now, I got a good situation going. If something goes wrong, I call somebody and they come and fix it. I'm about to lose that.
You don't have to shovel or do a lot of stuff.
I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Like pipe bursts, you don't have to pay for it and get a plumber to come in and do it. Like it's taken care of. So there's that problem. I mean, renting is bad too because you're kind of wasting your money doing that. So you're actually investing in something. So I think that's definitely a pro. That's why when you go real older house, you're gonna have problems. Like there's going to be problems, and all of a sudden you're like, man, it's an extra $5,000 here, $2,000. What's going on? I should stay, in the apartment. But if it's something a little bit newer, you stay, get a good 10 years in, 15 years, and maybe bolt to a next place.
Binkley, are you ready?
What are you going to do? Random question time!
This is a question for me. It's not from the text line. If you guys have a question, I'm happy to ask Binkley the question. 913-586-7965. This is my question. Why has the Big Ten and the SEC allowed Notre Dame to basically have their own set of rules? Notre Dame is firmly in the college football playoff with that schedule? How? They've beaten one decent team this year.
I have no idea,
How
man.
are they firmly in the playoff? How is it known amongst the sport? Well, I mean, if they just went out, they don't play anybody. I mean, they got to beat Pitt
like the
and
ACC takes
Stanford
their basketball
and
team with those.
Syracuse,
Yeah.
and they're automatically in the playoff. Why is the Big Ten? The Big Ten tries to strong arm everybody else. Why do they just let Notre Dame have their own rules?
I have no idea. Notre Dame was the first team to have a TV contract when NBC was going to start showing all their games. Now they're all on TV, so it doesn't matter. But I have no idea why they keep letting Notre Dame get away with things. But deep down, they detest them. I mean, these coaches don't like Notre Dame. I mean, when they interview them, but yet they keep dealing with Notre Dame. It's also a major moneymaker, and they know that.
Binkley, if you were going out for a steak, where would you go?
Texas Roadhouse. Man, I want something that's economical, man. Something that's not going to kill the wallet. Something I can be satisfied with. I can go in there and have a really nice steak at Texas Roadhouse.
What if you're with a lady friend and you want to take her?
Texas Roadhouse. Same place we get to. It's still expensive. It's still going to cost you $100.
No.
$15.87 prime. I'm going to go. No.
I just didn't know. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, probably the Roadhouse.
Have you already fully made
or
the
go to
switch?
Hy-Vee and grab one?
Have you made the switch over to the fall beers yet?
You know what I have? Oktoberfest is pretty much ready and brewed by the end of May, but it just sits there.
Okay.
And it had been sitting there till September.
They're letting it cook.
But now they've been throwing it out at the end of July. I was drinking Oktoberfest in July. The winter beers, that's a different story. And I don't know what the hell is going on. I've talked to 2 liquor stores. Where's the winter beer? Where's the Sam Adams Winter Lager? Where's the Mother's Winter Grind? And I call them. I call them every day. And now I'm on a list. They'll say, we'll call you back, Jay, when we have it. I mean, Nutcracker Ale, but Boulevard's out, so I have, a lot of Boulevard Nutcracker Ale because I get to the winter beers. But yeah, it's Coors Light the rest of the year, but the winter beers, man, they're a special thing. But they don't have them yet. I keep trying. I even went to Fesco's friend Maloney, and he's a bar owner. I said, can you help me out here? Can you help me out? And he said he can, so we'll see.
Binkley, where do you think the Royal Stadium will end up?
Legends, or Fesco said, 119th, and no, their group is buying up that land out there. So I mean, they're doing that for a reason.
I think they're going up north. I think they're
North
going to
Kansas
Clay
City?
County. I think they're going to Clay County.
That would be awesome. I would love them
right
to
now.
be there if they would do that. I mean, I'm not going to have any complaints for that. As a Northland guy, I'm 100% for Northtown, but I think the Northtown are the legends. But obviously, I prefer them staying in Clay County. But
where do you think the Chiefs land?
I think they're going to stay where they're at.
You think they're going to renovate?
I think they're going to renovate it, and I think they're going to try to spice up that area that only has that, Taco Bell, a burnt down Denny's. Spice it up at the hotel, some other things to do, because I know they are enamored by that kind of stuff, and that is a draw because that is what teams are doing now. They're getting things around the stadium that they want. I think they know it's going to be difficult. I mean, just listening to them talk, they know it's going to be difficult to do. But, yeah, deep down, I think they'll stay. But who knows?
Would you rather graduate from Truman High School or Winnetonka?
North Kansas City School District. I'm going to say Tonka.
Rob, what about you? Would you rather graduate from Truman or Winnetonka if you weren't a Blue Valley Northwest graduate?
I literally have no idea what all the beef is
I just was wondering. I just want to know which one.
There's beef, Rob.
Because Rob, you take great pride in saying you went to Blue Valley Northwest.
I would say Winnetonka of the two, probably Winnetonka.
At North Kansas City School District, man. Staley, Oak Park, Winnetonka.
Yeah, but you're the ugly stepchild of that district, but that's okay.
He seems like a William Crispin man myself. That's what Rob seems
Bears?
like. That's what he seems like. He seems like a William Crispin guy.
I mean, at least a West guy. That's
you 100%.
I'm an Oak Park guy, not a Tonka guy.
100%.
100% Oak Park guy. Definitely
you know what, Rob? If Rob was from Missouri, he would have graduated from Blue Spring South. That's where Rob would have graduated from.
That's
for
probably
sure.
true. Yeah.
You know what's funny is there's 3 guys that have worked the station, and I called their high school games. Like, that's how old I am. I called 3 of the dudes here their high school football games.
Text line 913-586-7965. Binkley, where do you go grocery shopping?
Hy-Vee.
Ooh.
Yeah, Hy-Vee is just, it's close to me. I like it. They got everything I want. I take dates to the Fast and Fresh because they got everything. Roller food, Nathan's hot dogs, by the way. Not just your run-of-the-mill hot dogs. Nathan's hot dogs.
If I'm leaving
and
the
best
station,
ice cream sandwiches in the city.
If I'm leaving the station, I go to Hy-Vee, the one right here.
Yeah.
If I'm like at home and I'm going to the grocery store, I go to the Price Chopper over there by Row. You know, like where it's like the Price Chopper and the Walmart.
There's
and
some
stuff.
nice ones, yeah.
That's where I normally.
But Hy-Vee, they get the full liquor store too, man. Like in the Missouri side, they get the liquor store there, and they deliver beer too. Like if you're sitting there on a Saturday or Sunday, you need a couple cases of beer or something. You just get your phone out there and it comes right to you as long as it orders over $25, which it always is.
Binkley, we really appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you, C-Don.
Random question time. It's my favorite. It's absolutely my favorite.
Some fun random questions.
It's my favorite time of the day. Binkley, we appreciate you. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the top stories of the day in Kansas City. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Heartland Foundation Repair. Okay, Shawnee, the crash still there. 35 northbound past Johnson. Right lane is blocked near Blue Springs. I see a lot of red, big delay. 470 northbound on the ramp to 70 eastbound. Right lane is blocked. Polyfoam is the most durable and permanent solution for your sinking driveway and garage floor. And Heartland Foundation Repair's quality of work and integrity of word will get it right the first time. Let their Polyfoam solution solve your sinking problems at heartlandfr.com. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Get ready, Missouri. Kickoff is near. The world's largest sports book is coming to your fingertips. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. With high and transparent app limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Start betting like a pro in Missouri on December 1st. Learn about your new bookie today at circasports.com. The world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports launches December 1st.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
A blown left headlight is making Erica's drive to her son's soccer game darker and darker. So she goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Where a friendly AutoZoner finds her 2 new bulbs.
These lights have the most clarity.
And helps her get back on the road so she can brighten her drive and the cheering section.
All right, all right.
See clearer and drive safer with new lights. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/play.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
If you're a man waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. This is Jeff Montgomery. Do what I did. Contact Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. Go to miva-medical.com.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Right now, we've got incredible savings on the new 2025 Ford lineup. Drive home a brand new Escape Hybrid starting under $29,000. Folks, these Escape Hybrids let you charge if you want and get over 100 miles per gallon combined fuel economy. Or if you don't want to plug it in, you still get over 40 miles per gallon on gas only. You choose how you want to drive it. Looking for adventure? Check out the 2025 Bronco Sport starting under $29,000 or lease one for just $399 per month with 0 down. Need something with more space? We've got the new Explorer and the Expedition ready for your next family road trip. And truck fans, you can lease a new F-150 Crew Cab 4-wheel drive STX for 0 down and just $499 a month. Don't forget the Ford Maverick, roomy, versatile, and starting under $30,000. It's big on value, fits right in your garage, and drives like a dream. So visit us today at the Legends in KCK or online at victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Lease payments plus tax, title, and license. See dealer for details.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Carrington here, Rob here, taking you up until 6 o'clock. So we got a couple of things to get into. There were 2 questions that were asked on ESPN today as I was getting ready for work that were really, really interesting to me. The first one was a toss-up question that was thrown out on First Take. The question was, are the Chiefs more likely to miss the playoffs or make the Super Bowl? Now, I have not for a second begun to go through the thought process that the Chiefs may outright miss the postseason. I mean, I know it's a possibility. I'm just not there yet. I don't believe it. I still think this is one of the better teams in the National Football League. I still think this is a very good team and a talented team. I believe they are going to make the postseason. But the fact that we are asking this question at the midway point of the season is just interesting based on how the season has broken so far. So I was talking to Spec, and we came up with this. I think there's 4 locks for the postseason. Colts, Patriots, Bills, Broncos, and the AFC. I would be very, very surprised if either of those 4 teams missed the playoffs. The Pats and the Bills, just given their schedule the rest of the way, what would have happened for you to just miss the postseason? The Colts, given the division that they're in, this is just a year in which the Colts win the AFC South, and they're going to the postseason. The Broncos, they're at 7 wins right now. I mean, you would have to completely fall down the stretch for you to outright miss the postseason. So I got those 4 teams that I've put into a lockbox. I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time discussing those teams. You got Pittsburgh and Baltimore as 2 teams. One of those teams has to make it because somebody has to win the AFC North. We'll see how that plays itself out. And then, Rob, you got 3 other teams that I think are in the conversation. The Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Jaguars. Now, the Chiefs have lost the tiebreaker to each of those teams. You play the Chargers, so no need to freak out about it. But I think this list and how it's broken down is indicative of, man, there's a lot of work that needs to be done by Kansas City. So we are arguing that there are 3 playoff spots left, and just one of the playoff spots you are not eligible for because you have to win the AFC North. So whether you think the Chiefs are winning their division, whether you think they're a wild card team, wherever you have them, like you either got to get going, and there is real competition for those spots. Jacksonville only has 3 losses. The Chargers only have 3 losses. You got 4 losses. You got to get going to make the postseason. You got to really start getting to work. And if you look at your schedule, at least the rest of the month, you got a difficult stretch. You go on the road and play the Broncos. That's going to be a coin flip kind of game. You got a home game against the Indianapolis Colts. We are all trying to figure out what to make of the Colts. You got Thanksgiving against the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are great, but they can score. It's a road game. It's Thanksgiving. So no one would be surprised if the Cowboys won that game. And then you get to December where I think the schedule lightens up a little bit, and I think you can go on a little bit of a run. So I feel like we have been saying this for basically the entire year with the Chiefs. You just kind of got to take care of your business, and at some point you just got to get hot. And I think December kind of opens itself up to that. But, I mean, it is not a foregone conclusion, any of this. It's not a foregone conclusion they make the playoffs. It's not a foregone conclusion that they win their division. You got to start putting the work in the AFC. And for the most part, when you've played the good teams in the AFC, you've lost those games so far in 2025.
It is very hard to kind of handicap, like a better term, the AFC playoff race, because the people who are paid to handicap this, Vegas and FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever you use, is still saying the Chiefs, who are currently not in the playoffs, are the team to watch. So, like, as you went through the tiers, I feel like as we went through them one by one, man, every team has a fatal flaw, and I could see a lot of shakeup in the playoff picture. You compare that to the NFC, where the NFC, I feel like, is kind of done. We kind of know what it looks like. But the Chiefs find themselves in, we always call it the wash right now. Like, I know FanDuel has them as the favorite, but they're a team looking up at the Jags, a team that's beaten you. You're a team right now that's looking up at the Chargers, a team that's beaten you. Like, I think the Chiefs are better than those teams. I think the Chiefs deserve to be on, a Bills-Colts type of tier, but until the Chiefs start doing it on the field, it's really hard to justify being like, oh, they're a foregone conclusion for being one of those type of bump a few tiers teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best analogy would be this. The Chiefs are the friend that always figures it out. Always figures it out. We always talk about tickets. We were talking about a couple weeks ago with the Chiefs game. Or your friend that books the hotel last minute. Somehow that friend always ends up in the nice suite. Somehow that friend always ends up finding the tickets at a good price. So I think a lot of the conversation about the Chiefs is just based on their history, their track record, and what they've been. I just trust that the Chiefs are going to figure it out. That's why I'm really intrigued by these next 2 weeks. Every version of the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes wins these next 2 games. Every single version that we have seen. It's the second half of the season. It's after the bye. We believe the Chiefs are going to be, 95, 96% healthy. We'll see what happens with Isaiah Pacheco. But Trey Smith is going to play. Josh Simmons is going to play. There's no significant injury right now on the defense that I can think of. Every version of the Chiefs has won these 2 games. You go on the road in the division and you figure out a way to beat the Broncos. It doesn't have to be pretty, but you figure it out. And then you come back home against a team that none of us truly believe in the Indianapolis Colts. We already know what the weather's going to be like. It's the middle of November in Kansas City. It's going to be 50 degrees outside. It's going to be windy. Daniel Jones is outside, and you figure out a way to win. So a lot of it, at least from me, is I expect the Chiefs to respond after the bye week. I don't want to be overly down because the Chiefs went on the road against one of the 5 best teams in the league, played poorly and lost. That's going to happen to a lot of teams when they play the Buffalo Bills. But these 2 games that they got coming up, I don't care what version it's been, the 2018 version through the 2024 version of the Chiefs, at this point in the season, they are turning things around and they figure out a way to get their season back on track. They figure out a way to win these 2 games and firmly put themselves in the conversation of we are a Super Bowl contending team.
So you believe this year's Chiefs, based on that track record, mirror was it 2019 when the Super Bowl, they were 6-4. 6-4 Chiefs where they lost the Titans. I remember that game. They lost the Titans in Tennessee.
And then they got hot immediately after that.
Didn't lose again that season. I believe it was the year they lost to the Bengals, and my year's going to get messed up here. I think it's 2021. The Chiefs are 5-4. 2021, they then get hot. They end up as the 2 seed, but they end up as the 2 seed, and they host the AFC title game against the Bengals. We know what happened. You think the Chiefs are going to use this bye week to round into form, and I don't think you're wrong. I think history has told us that. But I think with this stretch of the games the Chiefs have coming up in November, we're going to learn pretty quickly if the Chiefs are the Chiefs of old or if this is an outlier, a new iteration, a different chapter has been written. Because historically, it gets cold outside. Kansas City starts gobbling up wins just left and right. Andy Reid, November, December is a behemoth. If this Chiefs team's going to do it, they got to do it fast because Broncos, Cowboys, Colts out of the bye is as tough a stretch as you'll see. And if they're 1-2 in that stretch, or even 2-1, and you're 7-5 going into December with a couple losses to contenders, you might not get hot the same way you have in the past and then run through the playoffs.
And I would say, if the Chiefs lose the Broncos game, and I know we got a long way to go, we will talk about the Chiefs in a way that we have never talked about them, a wild card team. That's what they are. If the Chiefs go on the road next week and lose to the Broncos, we can stop all this division talk. We can stop dynasty conversations. They are currently a wild card team if that's the case. They're 5-5 in the middle part of the season, and now we got to start talking about can they get to a position where they're playing their best football, where it doesn't matter where they're seated, it doesn't matter where the game is. For this entire run, they have always had a couple of significant advantages. Either they haven't had to play in the first round, or you get 1 or 2 home games, or they're in a position where in week 18, they don't have to play. The game doesn't really mean anything. You're not worried about seeding. So maybe you didn't get a traditional bye, but you get an opportunity to get everybody healthy. You don't usually get that if you're a 10-7 team. That ain't really how the end of the regular season works. You might need that game. So if the Chiefs lose next week to the Broncos, just how we have discussed the Chiefs for basically the last 7 years, a foregone conclusion they win their division, a foregone conclusion they are either the first or second team in the AFC. That cannot be if you are 5-5 in week 11 in the NFL season. You have not proven that so far this season. So I think next week is very, very telling about what kind of category we are going to put the Kansas City Chiefs in. All right, Rob, let's get to the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
As always, King, the hits are brought to you by Baker University. Make your next era orange at Baker University, the first university in Kansas, and ranked number 1 in return on investment among private universities in Kansas. Baker University, forever in our orange era.
All right, I want to say shout out to Baker University. I want to ask you the question. Now, I don't know. 913-586-7965. I swear to you, I don't know. But we just found out that on December 5th, we are going to find out what teams are coming to Arrowhead for the World Cup. Now, I'm excited about the World Cup. I mean, I don't know much about soccer, but I know it's a major sporting event. I mean, the biggest sporting event. And I also know I will be there. So I'm excited about it. And you can get me excited about international soccer. You maybe can't get me excited about EPL and none of that. I don't know nothing about it. But what I do know enough about soccer that when you got Brazil playing another country, I know that that's a big deal, and I know it's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to the World Cup. Rob, I know we don't know right now who the teams are going to be that are coming to Kansas City, but who would you like to see? I mean, I don't know enough about this process, but I'm just going to guess we aren't getting Team USA. Something tells me that I know they say it's random, but somehow they will randomly end up in New York or randomly end up in Los Angeles or randomly end up in Miami. Like, I don't think it's that random. I just would be very, very surprised if the number one draw ended up in Kansas City. But I don't think it matters because you are going to have one good team, a couple of good teams that are going to be playing games at Arrowhead that people are going to be excited about. Who realistically do you think we can and should get?
So first things first, I believe I read a report that USA plans on having their training camp out in LA. So mark down a lot of West Coast games for Team USA because they're going to be training in LA. You're not going to want them jet setting across the country, which kind of kills Kansas City, at least in the group stage. So it's a tough question to answer because
I want like a France or something. Can we get Mbappe?
Oh, that would be incredible. Right now, Mbappe's not in the World Cup. They haven't finished the qualifying process yet, and there are still a
Hold on, you're
ton
telling me
of
I only know
open
like
slots.
4 or 5 players, and one of the players I do know, they're not in the Cup?
Not yet.
What are they doing?
We have not finished qualifying. Qualifying will finish, and then they do the draw on the 5th. So,
okay, so they're still working to get to the Cup.
Correct.
Okay.
I believe France will probably make it, but I don't have all the tables in front of me. Of the teams that'll make it, have made it. Let's just use the known commodities.
Can we get like Brazil or somebody?
I think Kansas City will get at least one big-time player in the group stage. Now, I don't think they're going to be playing a good team. I think you can get an Argentina. I think you could get a Brazil. I think you could get an England. I think if they make it, you get a Germany. You could get one of these Colombia. One of these big-time world powers is going to come to Kansas City. That would not shock me. I don't believe they're going to be playing another world power. Like, I wouldn't prepare for Brazil versus Spain in the group stage to be in Kansas City. But I could see a scenario where one of those superpowers in international soccer is playing in Kansas City because Kansas City has what? They have tied for the most or one of the most matches of any city in the United States.
We get a handful of really, really good games at some point.
So, you can never answer what the knockout round looks like because you don't know how the tournament's going to play out. But I think in the group stage, one of those countries where you know the players is coming to Kansas City.
Yeah, don't we get like the equivalent of the Sweet 16? Is that it?
Yeah, we'll get a Elite 8 actually.
Oh yeah, well then we're getting good. Then we're guaranteed to get one incredible game.
Correct, but you can't predict who's going to be in the Elite 8. Same way you can't in the NCAA tournament.
I'm guessing the United States won't be in it. I don't know much, but I know they won't be there.
But I can tell you, I think in the group stage, like for an NCAA tournament comparison, a 2 versus 15 matchup, I think Kansas City could get a 2 versus 15. I think a Brazil taking on a Morocco or something could be in Kansas City in the group stage, which would be incredible for the city if one of these superpowers is in town.
All right, well, go soccer. That's all I got to say. Go soccer. Hit number 2.
Number 2.
All right, I want to play this for you guys because this was very, very interesting. Now, I want to give this disclaimer. I don't think this is going to happen. This is just a fun sports radio topic. But what if the Jets took all of those draft picks that they just got from all these different teams, and what if they packaged it for Joe Burrow? An interesting thought.
This is a league that always has quarterback questions. This now, as much as ever, feels like an arms race with teams positioning themselves to make big moves for quarterbacks, whoever they are, whenever they are. We saw this week that anybody can be had. We saw that teams are willing to go nuts to get their guy. So why is it going to stop there? When it starts there, it's not going to stop. It's only going to increase. And there are some teams out there that have some major ammunition to go dangle to make things happen.
Not anybody can be. That was beautiful. Joe Burrow cannot. No way. Jets, try all you want.
I think it would be crazy for the Bengals to trade Joe Burrow.
Outrageous.
That being said, He's ended the last 3 seasons, they won't make the playoffs. He's ended 3 seasons on IR. If you're able to get a king's ransom, I could see it not being a 0%. I don't think it's smart. I was there when Carson Palmer.
Let me ask you a question.
Come to camp,
How do you think
and
Joe?
we had Andy Dalton, and we flipped all these draft picks into what is probably the most successful stretch for Bengals franchise history from 2011 to 2016.
Go, Shefty, go. We're just talking. How do you think Joe Burrow feels about the Bengals defense and the offensive line that's protected?
I'm asking you a question. If I were Joe Burrow, I would want out of Cincinnati.
You would?
Yes. If I were Joe Burrow, that doesn't mean Cincinnati would be obliging to that.
Hold on. That's where it gets interesting.
I don't know why this hypothetical is so intriguing to me. The Jets have the compensation to go get just about anybody in the National Football League. They picked up 3 first-round picks over the last 48 hours. They have a lot of draft capital. What if the Jets called Cincinnati with this offer? We will give you the 2 Colts first-round picks. We will give you our second-round pick. So this season, depending on what the Colts do, let's say that ends up being the 27th pick and the 33rd overall pick. We'll also give you the Colts first round in 2027. We have no clue what that could be, but just knowing how the NFL is, they might end up getting like the 14th overall pick. And then we'll also give you a mid-round pick. So let's say we give them the 5th. So we'll give you 2 1s, a high 2, and a mid-round pick in 2027. And you called Cincinnati and said, we want to trade for Joe Burrow. I think Cincinnati thinks about it. Now, I don't think Cincinnati does it. I think they have committed way too much money at quarterback and 2 wide receivers to abandon the plan this early on. And also, Joe Burrow's under 30 years old. Now, I know he has been broken down. He has had significant injuries at multiple stages in his career. I don't think this Joe Burrow thing is lasting until he's 40 years old. Joe Burrow, to me, seems like somebody whose body gives up at 34 years old. So you don't have that much time left. But I do think Cincinnati is committed to at least going for it. Now, I wouldn't do this if I'm the Jets either. The Jets might have the number 1 overall pick. Just draft Ty Simpson. Just draft Fernando Mendoza and go on from there. But I do think this is a very interesting topic on who would win this trade and would Cincinnati say no if the Jets called and made that offer. Rob, what do you think would happen if the Jets called up and said, we want to give you a lot of the assets that we've acquired. We want to go get Joe Burrow.
So I don't think the Jets would call because I think that deal is terrible for the Jets. And listen, I like Joe Burrow. Me and you argue all the time about the most impressive college football season. You say it's Cam Newton. I say it's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is fantastic to watch. But if I'm the Jets, I'm getting rid of all the things I've just acquired to go get one player. You still have other holes on your team. And the Jets would be in the same situation with Joe Burrow that the Bengals are in. They would still have a defense that's lacking, and they would still have an offensive line that's lacking. It would look like the Aaron Rodgers Jets. So, if I'm the Jets, I'm not giving up that draft capital for things other than draft picks, at least early in the process. Let's say they package some picks, they go get number 1 overall this year. They might get number 1 overall just on their badness. And they take Ty Simpson or Mendoza or whoever they think the best quarterback in the draft is, and they hit. Now you can use those picks and turn around and get a star player to pair with your quarterback. Or you can do what the Cardinals did because you have so many picks to play with. You can take Mendoza with the first overall pick this upcoming draft. He's not the guy. He looks like he might be a miss. What do you do now? You package the picks you have pocketed for the ensuing season, and then you go draft Arch Manning or whoever you think the next quarterback is. Keep taking shots until you hit at quarterback. The Jets need to pick a young quarterback to build around, not trade all those picks to Joe Burrow. So what would happen if the Jets made that call? The Bengals should run to say yes, but the Jets shouldn't be making that phone call.
Hit number 3.
Number 3.
Carrington, we got a massive, at least AFC West tilt on Thursday Night Football tonight. Not massive as far as going to be enjoyable to watch, but one half the AFC West is playing tonight, including one team the Chiefs are looking up at. Broncos and Raiders. Carrington, Thursday night football can get weird. The Broncos struggled last week with the Texans. Could it get spicy in Denver tonight, or should Chiefs fans prepare for a week-long conversation of Denver looks good and they just had a mini bye?
Now, I at least want to point this out. The Raiders ain't the Texans. The Raiders ain't the Texans. But yeah, I'm surprised that you and I see this game so differently. Now, I think the Broncos are winning this game. Thursday night is weird. And if there is a spot where if you're a Broncos team that you get caught looking ahead to the biggest game of your season next week at home against Kansas City, I mean, wouldn't it be this spot right here? I mean, wouldn't it be this spot? You're the Broncos. You were thinking, it's the Raiders. Why does it matter? We can just roll the ball out there. You're already thinking about your long weekend. I mean, if you win this game, you don't have to come back to work until when? Next Wednesday? You got a significant amount of time off. If there's a spot to get caught slipping and get caught looking, wouldn't it be this divisional game for the Broncos? Now, I think they're going to win, but I think this game's I'm staying away from the number. I'm staying away from betting it. Thursday night football is weird to me. That's all I got on it. It's just always weird.
I mean, I get what you're saying. It's always weird. But I feel like that weirdness usually happens when a team's on the road. The Broncos are not on the road. They are at home tonight. It's not Mile High. What do they call their stadium? It's got some corporate
It's Mile
name.
High.
It's Mile High.
Just like it's Arrowhead, it's Mile High.
It's not GEH80. Either way.
I've never called it that. Only when we got to read the thing for Mitch Holtis. That's the only time I call it that.
So that's number one. The game's at home. Number two, man, the Raiders traded away their best pass catcher, at least their best wide receiver, 2 days ago. So you think on a short week, they're going to have lost their best wide receiver, and that's going to make Geno Smith look better? If I'm the Broncos, I'm putting every member of the secondary on Brock Bowers. I don't care. Throw it 100 times to Jack Becht. Throw it 1,000,000 times to Jack Becht. I do not care. He's not beating me today. So short week, depleted roster because of the trade deadline, road game for a team that is turning the ball over at a high rate. It reeks of like 24-7, 24-9 Broncos. Ugly football, but dominant by Denver.
This is the thing I'll throw out there, and I know we're up against it. Do you trust the Broncos to win every game they're supposed to win? Because so far this season, that is exactly what they've done. The Broncos' 2 losses are on the road against the Colts and on the road against the Chargers. You do not feel bad about either one of those losses. Do you trust the Broncos, or really any team that's good in the National Football League, to win every single game they're supposed to win? Because if that's the case, this Broncos team's going 13-4. Like, if you think the Broncos win every game they're supposed to win, then I would say then the division's over. There's no reason to talk about it then. They play Vegas twice. They got Jacksonville at home. I think they're better than them. They got Washington. Then the division race is over then if you think that about them. I don't think it's over. I think the Broncos are going to slip up in one of these games, and it's just going to end up being interesting at the end because it's the National Football League, and it always seems to work out that way. So maybe it's not this Raiders game, but it's on the road against Washington. Or you lose at home to Jacksonville right before the Christmas Day game against Kansas City. Mark this down. Trust me. I'm telling you. The Broncos have been walking on the edge. They could have lost at home to the Giants. They should have lost last week. They played a 13-11 game at home against the Jets. I'm not 100% marking this down as a win for the Broncos. No. Not in 2025. It's been way too weird for that. Coming up on the other side, earlier today, we were joined by Michael Swain. He covers the Jayhawks. They got a busy weekend coming up, but most importantly, they might have the number 1 overall pick on their basketball team. We talked to Michael Swain about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, we're in the heart of football season, and the players, they got to be on their game and at peak performance and ready to go when it matters most to try and get a win on Sunday, Saturday, whatever time of the week they play. You also have to be ready and confident where it counts. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference. Day and nights just got longer and better for everyone because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. It'll have you feeling fantastic. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Confident where it counts. Give her group chat something to talk about, because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and get your first month free. BlueChew.com and get your first month free. A small chew for a big difference. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses, plus an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day, with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A crash in Pleasant Valley, 2 cars off to the right shoulder, 35 northbound just before 435. Also, DeSoto, finally in the clearing stages, this problem here in the right lane, K10 westbound as you approach Kill Creek. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
You guys may have heard this, but Kansas basketball, they have a very good player on their team. His name is Darren Peterson. A lot of you will get a chance to see him coming up tomorrow as they play North Carolina, but a lot of people think that he will be the #1 overall pick in this year's NBA draft. Michael Swain, he covers the Jayhawks. We had him on the show earlier today, and we talked about Darren Peterson.
It's one of those, you watch warm-ups, right? You can just tell he's got kind of that it factor. Man, he's such a special player. And I think what he's shown in basically one half of action in the 2 games he's played against high major teams, right? Think back to the Louisville exhibition and then obviously what he showed against Green Bay. Like, it's one of those where you just see that he's why there's all the hype. the three-point shooting is going to come and go, but, man, you just watch him move. You watch him cut, create his own shot. Like, you can go back to the Green Bay game on Monday. You go end of the first half. Everyone in Allen Fieldhouse, everyone watching the game on ESPN+, you knew Darren was taking the last shot at the end of the first half. The guy guarding him knew he was taking the shot. It didn't matter, right? Gets the elbow, pulls up. It's just good. And so, you just see the talent that he has, and it's one of those where I'm most excited to watch a game like Carolina where they're going to force him to do a lot, right? And I'm really interested to see how he handles all of that responsibility, because I think so far we've seen him act as a scorer, right? You watch against Louisville, you watch against Green Bay, and what he does putting the ball in the basket. Well, I'll tell you what, Carolina's going to really try and make him be a playmaker, I bet, and see how he handles how they're going to, what they blitz or whatever they do with the pick and roll coverage. And that's going to be the most exciting part, is seeing a guy as talented as Darren deal with the different challenges that teams throw at him. And so, again, first time I really think that, he's going to be in the high-pressure road environment. Sure, on the road at Louisville in an exhibition, that wasn't a sold-out place. It's going to be a whiteout at Carolina. Like, that is up there for one of the toughest atmospheres and one of the coolest atmospheres anyone can play in. And, man, I'm excited to watch Darren go to work and see what he can.
Right now, we're talking to Michael Swain, who covers the Jayhawks for 24/7 Sports. Michael, for KU fans that only know two players, Darren Peterson and Flory Badunga, because he was on the team last year, give KU fans some other names to watch, because there's going to be a group of KU fans that tomorrow is going to be their first time watching them.
Yeah, for sure. I think Melvin Council is going to be one KU fans are really, really going to like. And for the long-tenured fans who can remember Tyshawn Taylor, it's so weird now where I'm saying, like, oh, yeah, if you remember Tyshawn Taylor, it was 13 years ago. Like, it's been a while. But, man, Melvin Council, like, he is going to remind you so much of Tyshawn. The athleticism, the speed, the intensity that he plays at. I think he's the perfect guy to have next to Darren Peterson, where, if you look last year at St. Bonaventure, right, where Melvin Council played, he played 40 minutes a bunch. Like, he never left the floor. And he's going to be a really steady presence in the backcourt next to Darren, and he's going to be a guy that isn't going to shoot a lot of threes, but, man, he's going to attack the basket. He's going to create a lot for others, and he's going to be able to take some pressure off of Darren. Obviously, at the 4, you got Trey White, transfer from Illinois. He's going to fit more of your Jalen Wilson mold of the 4, not so much your KJ Adams or your too big look. 6'7". His three-point percentage has improved year over year. You're looking at him potentially, if you can get 33% out of him this year from deep, that's really good. He's got to play to his size against Carolina. Carolina's going to start, 3 guys who are 6'10" and above. So he's going to have to play big against Carolina. And then in the starting lineup, Cole Rosario is a guy that's had a little bit of a slow start. He's a true freshman from Miami, played overtime elite, enrolled early, reclassed up to be with KU. He can really shoot the ball. He's a super athletic player. He's just got to slow down. And Bill Self talked about it when we talked to him this week. Cole has played way too fast to start because he's excited. He wants to go make plays. He's just got to take a deep breath, let the game come to him. And when he does, I think he's going to be one of the best shooters on the team behind Darren.
I'm not used to looking at bracketology and seeing KU with the 6 by their name. Right now, Joe Lunardi has KU as a 6 seed. So if I set the over-under right now, let's say it's at 4.5. I know it's early in the season. Their best players are freshmen. We'll learn more about this KU team. If I say 4.5, do you think they'll do better or worse than that seed in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think better, and I feel pretty confident in saying that. I think this is a team that, because of the way the last couple of years have gone, because of the way the last 2 years are going to impact all the analytics, right, the Ken Palm and stuff going into this year, it's going to make KU look like a high teens, low 20s team going into the year. I think this is a top 15-ish team. And they could lose to Carolina, and that could definitely happen. But I think that by the time we get to March, this is a team that's going to be in the top 15, potentially top 10 if everything goes well. If, like, Bryson Tiller turns into an NBA draft pick that, you're expecting. If Cole Rosario shoots 40% from 3 or something like this team's ceiling, I think, can easily get up onto that kind of 1 or 2 line. It's just a question of what's the range of outcomes. But I do think right now KU as a team, looking at the rest of the season, is going to be a little bit underrated just based on the fact that, it's Darren, Flory, and who else, like you're saying?
That's Michael Swain. He covers the Kansas Jayhawks. Rob, you are a Kansas alum. You are a Kansas basketball season ticket holder. I mean, I follow Kansas basketball enough to note that this feels different. That KU They get great prospects. They don't get this prospect that often because there's just not many of these guys around. There's one, maybe two of these guys every year in college basketball. Last year, that player was Cooper Flagg. That's who you wanted. This year, there's two, maybe three of them. It's Darren Peterson, it's AJ Dabanska, and it's the older boozer kid at Duke.
Cameron.
It's Cameron at Duke. So it's those three prospects. You got one of those guys. So, I mean, this is the biggest KU recruit we're talking about in a decade since Andrew Wiggins, that you could just feel there is a buzz about him. So I'm excited to see how this season progresses. They got a handful of really, really big games here in the non-con. We get a chance to see him go on the road against North Carolina. They play Duke coming up in a couple of weeks. Well, they'll get a chance to go up against one of the other potential number one overall picks. They play BYU this year. So we're going to get a chance to see him play up against some other high-end NBA prospects. And the beautiful thing I always say about sports is at some point you got to prove it. I don't care how much talking happens. Eventually, if you're the number one overall pick, we will see it play itself out over the course of the season. I'm excited to see if he can live up to these very lofty expectations that he has.
You know what's funny is, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow because KU plays Carolina tomorrow. A lot of what we're saying about Kansas, I'm assuming North Carolina fans are saying about their school too. Like they have Caleb Wilson. Now, Caleb Wilson I don't think is as good as Darren Peterson, but he's a top-flight, five-star type of freshman on Chapel Hill. And they went out in the portal and found players to surround him with. Like they added the Visser kid from Arizona. They added local kid, Kyan Evans. Like Carolina went out there and said, we have a fabulous freshman. We're going to surround him with talent. That's what KU did in the portal. They said, we have Darren Peterson. We're going to surround him with talent. Like, it is going to be very quickly, okay, who had the better offseason, who has the better individual player. But you're right. It's hard to say this and not have it sound like KU hubris, but there is an air, or as the kids say, an aura around Darren Peterson. You talk to an Eric Bossy. You talk to Greg Gurley. You hear from what Bill Self is saying. You talk to Michael Swain. You talk to, Doug Gottlieb put this on Twitter. I know Bill Simmons has said it. Like, we're going to have Kevin Sweeney on the show tomorrow. Kevin Sweeney wrote a piece for SI, which is full of quotes about he's just different. He's like a pro at 17 years old, the way he moves, the way he acts, the way he plays. And KU fans have every right to be really excited about this kid because he might not live up to the hype because the hype is so lofty, but he will go down as one of those type of freshmen, not only in college basketball, but at Kansas.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, I would say. I'm sitting here looking at the rivals, or and that's now 24/7. I'm looking at their top, rankings or whatever. Peterson was one, Dabanska, Cameron Boozer. There's a kid that went to Tennessee and another kid that went to Arkansas. I mean, basically outside of Dabanska, the Kings stay the Kings. There's not a lot of like last year there was the Rutgers. Like I think we can say pretty definitively, every year in college basketball, one of those top kids is going to end up going to what we would consider to be a random school. Like right now, Missouri has the number one point guard prospect is committed to go play basketball in Missouri. Missouri is a random school if we were talking about getting that level of a basketball project. But everywhere else, Kansas, Duke, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisville, Houston, North Carolina, Arizona, USC, UConn. I know we think that NIL is just spread things out. When it comes to those, it's just hard to convince a five-star kid, hey, I should go to Iowa State. No, that kid's going to Kentucky. That kid is going to UConn. That kid is going to play for John Calipari. Kids are going to go where they know.
I actually just saw a tweet from Field of 68. There's, to your point, how the top freshmen fared in their first game. Look at these schools. It's Arizona with Koa Pete. It's Illinois. It's Baylor. I know we don't look at Baylor that way. Baylor is a top-flight basketball program.
But Baylor always gets one or two of those kids, always. I don't know how they've been doing it this long. They always stay with one.
Calipari, who's now at Arkansas. Arkansas not at school, but Calipari's that guy. Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky. Houston. Now Syracuse has one of those kids, albeit it's Carmelo's kid. Like everyone, Michigan, that everyone who is everyone gets one of those freshmen because that's what happens in college basketball.
I would just say now, if you are one of those other ones, maybe you're not spending your resources chasing those kids. You need to probably be trying to get the kids 30 to 60, and you got to try to convince them to stay. That's the game now where Darren Peterson was only going to the elite prospects. But if you can get the 40th overall kid and you can convince them to buy in and stay in school, and you're paying them good money, to me, that might be it. If you can do
and
that,
pair him
plus,
with an elite portal kid,
plus
exactly.
the portal. If you can do those two things, you got a chance at building a pretty decent team. I think that's the strategy that Missouri is trying to have. Hey, we've done pretty decent in the portal, and we've kept our kids. If now we can start to throw a couple of those high-end basketball prospects, I mean, Missouri has 2 of the top 15 kids in next year's class stepping on campus. If you can then pair that with some money in the portal, you got a chance to have a decent team. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more, and you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for the 22nd time.
It covers the whole works at Lewisburg Ford.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to the awesome people we have working at Lewisburg Ford and helping our customers, and it really shows with this award because it's only a few dealers that get it, and we've done it 22 times.
I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hi, I'm Nick. And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box so that family memories would be safe and could always be enjoyed together.
And starting now, we're offering listeners early access to our best deal of the year during our $9 tape sale.
1 million families and counting have trusted Legacy Box to convert their aging media because Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your videotapes, film reels, and photos aren't protected unless they're on a digital format.
With the holidays approaching, don't wait. Simply fill your legacy box. We'll take care of the rest.
It's the most meaningful thing you can do this holiday season, and the perfect time during our best sale of the year.
Visit legacybox.com/value to get early access to our Black Friday sale and digitize your memories for only $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value. legacybox.com/value.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Okay, very slow still through Shawnee, and that is a stall. Finally, off to the right shoulder, still the right lane is blocked. 35 northbound as you pass Johnson. Downtown, that's a two-car crash. 670 eastbound as you approach 71. Two left lanes are blocked there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, Rob, you know that this is the segment that we usually have some foolishness. Listen to this toss-up, because this is a good one. Let's say that these events happen at the same day at the same time. Do you go to your wife's master's degree graduation or your sister's wedding? Which one do you go to?
That's a really, really good toss-up.
That's a great toss-up about which one. We might have to ask Mahomes this next week because, after the bye week, we do our annual, we don't ask him football questions. That's a really good toss-up. Which one do you go to? Your wife's master's degree graduation is at the same time as your sister's wedding. Which one do you go to?
I think you go to the master's event because the fallout of potentially missing that one is bigger. Like, your sister's gonna be mad at you, and you're gonna be a pariah at family events for a while, but you can't come home from the wedding and be like, hey, I heard you did great your master's ceremony. That means every day is a nightmare. So yes, you gotta go masters. This is close though.
This is why I think you gotta go wedding. You can always celebrate the master's ceremony.
Yeah, but seeing the diploma is a one and done. You don't get to do that 10 or 15 times.
Yeah, but I'm just saying is your wife this is at least the third time she's graduated in her life. She graduated high school. She graduated and got her bachelor's degree. Yes, her master's degree is great. But babe, my sister is, and when we're all done, come to the reception and we'll celebrate it. Hey, we'll celebrate you. I actually think you got to go to the sister's wedding here. I actually think if you're the wife, and now it depends on how close your wife and your sister are.
I would say being in the wedding too would change things too. If I'm in the wedding, obviously it's wedding. But if I'm just a guest, which would be odd, then yeah, you go to the master ceremony in that world.
Yeah, I honestly think, like, let's say that your wife and your sister are close. I think your wife should skip the graduation to then go to the wedding.
I would agree that's the most likely outcome. That wasn't the question. You can't be like, okay, well, in real life, my wife would skip to be at the wedding. That's the most likely real life outcome.
Going to the graduation is cool, but if in this scenario, all of your family is not going to be there and you've already done the thing, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you show up or not. They still hand you your diploma. Like, I remember whenever me and my mom had this conversation, because I dropped out of school to work with Nick, and then I had hours left. So then I decided to go back. Like, I was like, all right, cool, hey. And I was like, Mom, do you care about this? She was like, no, all I wanted you to do was get your degree. I don't care. Like, it's your decision if you want to go or not. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So in this scenario, babe, I have supported you the entire way. You already have the diploma. Let's go celebrate. Hey, the night before, let's go to 1587 Prime. Let's have a nice meal. Let's go to this wedding tomorrow. Let's celebrate it, and then let's do something special. I think the best thing to do is try to convince your wife to not go to the graduation, and then everybody just goes to the sister's wedding and supports her.
I think that's what probably happens in real life, because even in that scenario, if you got the welcome party, the rehearsal dinner the night before, like, wedding obligations are more than just the day if you're in the wedding. So it's more likely than not your sister is probably in the wedding. Like, it probably works out where your wife is going to elect to not go, but We're not getting the nitty-gritty of a toss-up. You asked which one.
No, that's a good one. No, that's
It's
a really
very
good one. No, I'm telling you, that's a good one. I saw that toss-up, and I was like, hey, man, we gotta throw that one there. That's a good one. Somebody said, what if it's your sister's third wedding? That also changes things. Honestly, if this is my sister's third wedding, y'all should have done this at the courthouse. That's what I'm saying. You've already had your special day. You had it once, then you had it twice. When you get to number 3, hey, man, go down to City Hall.
Yeah, you barely get 2. If you do a second big one, all right, cool. You don't get 3.
No,
you
absolutely, you don't get 3.
Absolutely not.
You don't get 3.
If I get an invite to a person's third wedding, I'm not talking like family, friend. Like, hey, man, I'm doing a big thing. It's my third wedding. It's going to be down at the Lowe's Hotel. I'd be like, I'm not coming. I'm not showing up for that.
You know what I'll show up for? The reception. Yeah. I'll show up for the reception. I'm not showing up for that.
Mark me down as open bar participant.
Hey, Rob, I'm going to say this. You did your wedding right. We had a buffet, and we had dinner, and it was an open bar. Hey, man, you really did your thing. I'm going to tell you that. I don't know if I can give you your credit. You really did your thing. We had an early little buffet, and then they came by and they brought us food. Oh, man. I don't know what that cost. You got your money's worth. I'm in here telling you that. Then you guys had like a Chicago Bulls starting lineup. It was great. Great time. Are you planning on getting married again anytime soon? Because I want to come to that.
I'm like Darren Peterson. One and done.
One and done. You know what? You guys got to renew your vows at like 10, and then we got to have another ceremony. That's what we'll do. He said I'm Anthony Davis. I'm Michael Kidd Gilchrist. This was a one and done for me.
You picked 2 guys that beat Kansas. They're one and done.
Yeah, for
really?
sure. Carmelo Anthony. That's what you are. You are Carmelo Anthony. One and done. All right, we had a lot of fun. Is tomorrow a Red Friday? It's just bye-week Friday?
And no Nate, no Red Friday, no nothing.
No nothing. It's just us. That's
just
who
us.
it is.
We're gonna
we ain't
have some
got
fun.
guests tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you